Jake, I'd be curious to know. I know we usually focus on like how you and I think because we're the hosts of the show and what our audience thinks. Like, what's the room thinking? I want to know what the group thinks in the clubhouse following today's split of the doubleheader, and then overall they dropped 2 of 3 to the Dodgers. Jake, my feeling is that the fans want our expectations met. Like 1 through 9 in our lineup, we want respect, right? And we're not getting that. We want hitters willing to record situational outs, bunt when they absolutely have to. That's definitely not happening, both with the players and the staff. But the Yankees thankfully won tonight in a bullpen game for the Dodgers, 2-1. They scratched Shohei Ohtani, right? As far as out of the rotation, he's dealing with a knee issue. Glasnow's also out. Snell's been out. Jazz hits a big home run from nowhere, opposite field. It felt like, Jake, when you go through your junk drawer and you find like a crisp $20 bill. I literally just did that the other day. It felt great. No expectations for it to happen, but it happened. It was a surprise. But the Yankees could also look at this big picture and say, yeah, our offense reeks. They stink. They're dreck. But the pitching staff's good. Hedrick, Blackburn, Bednar, they're all somewhat reliable or trending upward. And now the first place Rays were just swept in a 4-game set with the Boston Red Sox, who've now won 13 straight. Our focus is now probably shifting to the Red Sox, shockingly. They're still 50-48. So still a highly flawed team. They were expecting to be selling at the deadline. Jake, is it possible that all 3 of these teams that sit up top the AL East have glaring flaws that were ignored all offseason and in desperation should be the deadline for Brian Cashman to fix this putrid offense? How serious should we take this Boston team surging right now?
Very serious. This is the monster that you made. Not that long ago. They did, absolutely.
Yeah,
we
did
that.
They did
it last year too, by the way. They love it's like the June swoon where they're like, oh, it's not just it's the double whammy, right? It's not just, hey, we're gonna struggle in June. We're also going to kickstart Boston's kind of trek out of the garbage, right? And it's really frustrating because this team can win on the road. This team is pesky. They have guys that can put the ball in play. They have good pitching. They have guys that, have given the Yankees fits out of the bullpen. This is not the tree that you want to be barking up. And
is Roman Anthony over there, by the way?
Yeah.
He's healthy?
Well, he's over there. I don't know if I don't know what's going on with Roman Anthony, to be honest with you, but
I don't think he's healthy.
But this is what I'm going to say. Okay, they've won 13 straight, so that means that 11 games ago they were now 2 games ago they were 500. They were 11 games or more over or below 500. So the Yankees, when they faced them, could have put them to bed. That's what I can't, I don't think people get it. If the Red Sox, and I know it sounds crazy because it's like, wait, but they won 13 straight. How does that make sense? Momentum. If the Yankees beat the Red Sox to a pulp in that 3-game set, or I think it was 4 games, it's not even up for debate. The Red Sox are dead and they never come back. They never come back again.
You're probably right. And also no Roman Anthony. Anthony last played in early May. He hasn't been around. So this should just go to show you the difference of mentality between the two teams. One team doesn't have their best player far and away. A young, energetic player who they just gave a contract extension to. They fire Alex Cora. And who knew the team didn't change their roster a smidgen. And they start playing better baseball. Imagine that, Jake.
Yeah.
Imagine that happen. Oh, that's right. It already happened earlier this year with Philadelphia. So I say all that to say this. The Yankees have more talent than what people give it credit for, but we don't get as much out of our talent as we have to because it's always big picture. It's always, well, we'll figure it out. We act like we have a cold or a sickness as to the reason that we're not scoring runs with runners on. Aaron Boone said after the game, yeah, I actually liked how he swung the bats today. How could your manager say that when you scored 4 runs in 2 baseball games, and one of which was a bullpen game? You think you swung the bats well? Why?
Well,
He
his
said,
whole
well, we
thing
needed to
is,
cash in. And just a week ago, Jake, he said,
yeah,
no, we don't really need to hit with runners in score position. I mean, I would like to, but we need to start slugging. And then
I
a week
hated
later
that.
and today, he says, oh, yeah, we probably need to cash in. Well, cashing in doesn't that mean hitting with runners on? I don't get this team. I don't.
No, I don't get it either. I mean, it's frustrating. I'm glad they won. This is a frustrating game, so we'll take a win. They actually outplayed the Dodgers in this series. That's the craziest thing. That's absolutely the craziest takeaway that I have, as I believe that the Yankees played better than the Dodgers. And the Yankees, the problem is they are just not equipped to consistently win when they're not at their best. Whereas the Dodgers, as I said the last time we were live, they live in that, kind of world where it's like, oh yeah, we didn't play our best game, but it just worked out for us. We just found a way at the end. I mean, you have the Muncy home run. You have guys being able to hit, in big time spots. I mean, Kyle Tucker had a huge hit in that, fifth, the 5-run inning. These guys can step up. And so that's something that the Yankees are lacking. And I think really kind of, it goes to show you, like, the Dodgers scored 5 runs after Ryan McMahon dropped. He didn't get a pop up. It was hard for him to see. Totally don't blame him.
Yeah,
at
it was
all.
a bad break for sure.
But the Yankees, anytime they play this team, whether it's the playoffs or regular season, the Dodgers literally take advantage of every opportunity that comes in that.
Why do you
realm.
think that is, by the way? Because you're pointing out definitely something that I think most of us know.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to know from you is why. I don't want to just say, oh, it's Boone or, oh, it's the players. I think that's too broad of an answer. What aspect of the Yankees roster, and I know the answer to this, but I want to know what you think. Why do you think the Yankees can, in your opinion, outplay a team for majority of the innings? So in this case, 27 of the what you feel like they outplayed them the majority of the 27 innings played this weekend, and yet you walk away having won 1 game. What is it about this team that makes that happen consistently?
It's the fact that they don't have, they have a lot of talent on this team, regardless of what it looks like talented players, raw talent. Like Jazz Chisholm can come through in a big spot. Jazz Chisholm can, be in a big moment, whatever. Mm-hmm. Jason Dominguez can have his 3 for 4 days. Paul Goldschmidt's still Paul Goldschmidt. Ben Rice is one of the best hitters in baseball. Grisham's hitting over 300 in the last 32 games. Right. Cody Bellinger, I say it all the time. I still think he's one, if not the best, he's one of the best outfielders in the league. And then, you look at the other guys, right? Caballero stepped up in big moments this year. And, Ryan McMahon's had some really nice hits. He had a pinch hit, today, in the top, the last game of the doubleheader. So yeah, you kind of look across the board and you see like these guys are capable. It's not about whether they're capable or not. It's about can you keep it on? And this is why we're constantly looking, 2 for 10, 1 for 12, 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position. And I told you, I don't care about runners in scoring position anymore. I don't. My biggest thing is runners on base. What do you do when guys are on base? What was so unacceptable, okay? I know they won, but I do not want to gloss this over. There was bases loaded, nobody out. Mm-hmm. Nobody out. Like, the percentage chance of you scoring, isn't it like 75%? It's something crazy.
It's ludicrous. Yeah.
Because you have no outs. Mm-hmm. You're a fly ball, home run, or strikeout team for the most part, right? So You would think they're going to take liftoff, and they're at least going to get a run home on a sac fly. You have 3 opportunities. No. Jason Dominguez struck out. Hard fought at bat. I'm not saying like he had the worst at bat I've ever seen.
Right.
Worked the count, what have you. He lost, though. Now you have 1 out. Jazz Chisholm, I know he was a hero today. He pops out in foul territory. That can't ever happen on the first pitch. Can't. And then Anthony Volpe swings that ball 4 way out of the zone. Like,
I did tweet just before that at bat. I said he needs to walk here, clearly. Guy's not throwing strikes, you're not going to hit.
If he walks, they knocked in a run. I'm not exactly like jumping for joy, but at least I'm like, okay, at least they scored a run. You got to at least put something on the board in any circumstance, Gary. It doesn't matter if you're playing the Baltimore Orioles or, the Dodgers. But
so you said they were capable, right?
Because
I asked you why they're not getting it done. And you said they're capable, but they're just not hitting with guys on base. I personally, I'm going to take a different stance here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're capable. Here's why. I've seen them fail at what it is that we need them to succeed at for the majority of the season in 2026. I've watched them fail at this exact avenue, this exact lane of baseball, hitting with runners in scoring position, hitting with guys on base. I like that you brought that up, by the way, is that it's not just hitting with a man on third and second. It's also one out trying to avoid the double play. Instead, you spray a single, go first to third. There's value in that as well. You set up an inning and set up scoring opportunity. I'm glad you talked about that. I don't think they're capable, and I'll tell you why. I look at the lineup, and I'll be the first to put my hand up and say I was wrong about Trent Grisham offensively. I'd actually want him up in a run-producing situation. He doesn't chase pitches outside the zone. He can put the ball in play when he has to, and he hits home runs. I can deal with that because he excels at those things. When I look at Ben Rice, I feel the same way. Would I want Jason Dominguez? Saw him today, by the way, with runners in scoring position, nobody out. He did nothing to help the team, and that includes man at second base with nobody out. Fastest player on the team didn't decide to bunt. How? How do you not bunt? It's nonsensical, and people want to look at the coaching staff and say, well, what are they doing? What are you doing? Bunt. Do I want Dominguez up? No, I don't. Cody Bellinger, I would say I do, right? Not everyone's a problem. He's not. Schumann, sure. I think Schumann at this point, is he an ideal option? No. But right now he's having some of the better at-bats. Do I want Jazz Chisholm up to get a quality out, move a runner over? No. Anthony Volpe, no. Ryan McMahon, Sanchez, no. You don't. These guys in a vacuum.
I don't want Schumann up either, to be honest with you.
Correct. These players in a vacuum, you can point to their strengths and you could say, well, they field the ball, they can hit for some pop, right? And they do some good things where in a vacuum, you could say that player isn't awful. But at the task that we're asking them to be good at, Jake, which is hitting with guys on base, which is the hardest thing to do in our game, it's not even close. These players, this group, Boone aside, Cashman aside, well, Cashman not aside, he put this team on the field. These guys don't do that well. That's why, Jake, we want Luis Arias. It's not because Luis Arias is that much better of a baseball player than any of the 9 players. I think clearly he's a better player than a lot of them. But the point is what he excels at is what we fail at. I don't think this group's capable at all. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're capable. I mean, I guess what's the definition of capable for you? Are you talking about can they ever do it or can they consistently do it? Because
I'll tell you this
Yankee team isn't consistent.
If you threw Giannis Antetokounmpo into the 3-point corner in the NBA, he's a great player, but he doesn't shoot threes well. It's not his strong suit. But if you keep kicking him the ball out into the corner and you say, well, he's a good basketball player, so something good will happen. No, it won't. No, it won't. Because you're not utilizing that player in the way that he needs to be utilized. And so in a vacuum, and I see someone in the comments saying, what are we talking about by in a vacuum? If you put up someone's player rating and you said, well, Aaron Judge is a 99 overall, contact, right? Power, he can walk, he can do all the things. He's a 4 or 5 tool player. You'd be a 99. If you just stacked up the players like an Austin Wells, for example, you'd say, well, he catches well, he blocks well, he frames well. His rating starts to kick up and you go, well, he has value for the team. He doesn't suck because of those things that he does. But what he fails at, Jake, just so happens to be what we're praying that this team improves at. So Austin Wells physically cannot help you. Jazz Chisholm hits a home run today and saves the day. And guess what our fans are going to do? They're going to say, Jazz, that was awesome. And it was. We're going to go into the road series. Jazz Chisholm might come up with a man on second base and nobody out. And we're riding high off of what happened today, as we should, right? And we're going to go, oh, he should probably drop down a bunt or pull the baseball and move a runner from second to third base. And nothing that happened today is a positive indication for him to do anything positive in that moment. Nothing. That's what it means by someone's a good baseball player in a vacuum. Jazz Chisholm, someone tweeted to me today, Jake. They said, well, Jazz is probably a top 5 second baseman. I'd say, yeah, you actually probably right about that.
Yeah, second base.
You're probably right about that. And yet he fails. And not to pick on him, he's a great example of being a good baseball player overall and not useful for what it is that the Yankees currently fail at. So I hope that resonates with our audience, and not in a way that Jazz sucks or that these players suck. They're just not good as a group in what their strengths and weaknesses are. It's a struggle fest out there.
No, I like that you said that. I feel like the Dodgers are more of like, let's put it like this. When you have a recipe, right? Mm-hmm. There are some ingredients to a recipe, like while you're making it, you're baking a cake or whatever, mm-hmm. and you get the recipe, and there'll be some people like, you're putting that in there? It's like, trust me, that needs to be in there, right?
Yeah.
But let's say like date syrup is one of them, right? I know some people would probably hate date syrup. Hate it. But used correctly, it can complement a dish. So my thing is, you're not going to use date syrup, and this is what I'm going to say right now. Like, a great example of this to me is, in my opinion, you could make this argument, is a guy like Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman isn't meant to be the head honcho number 1 guy on a team.
Yeah, he's meant to be a complimenter. Like, he's meant to complement Shohei Ohtani. What he's good at.
You need him for the recipe, though.
Yeah, you have to have him, because people will look at Tommy Edman. Like, for example, if Jazz Chisholm had the year that he was hoping for, Jazz would have hit 30 plus home runs. He would have stolen 30 plus bases. And people would have looked at Tommy Edman and Jazz Chisholm and said, well, Jazz is clearly the better baseball player, if those were his numbers. Well, guess what?
Miguel Rojas. How about him? You know?
Yeah. So that's
he's
why
having
I'm
maybe
saying,
his best
just
season
compare
in
Tommy Edman
5
and Jazz
years.
Chisholm. Then you'd say, oh, I guess if Jazz played up to his potential, Jazz could, in theory, be a better baseball player. But what no one tells you is that if you remove Tommy Edman off of the Dodgers and you replace him with Jazz Chisholm, the Dodgers got worse.
Yeah.
Even if he played to his potential, they still got worse, because Tommy Edman excels at what the Dodgers intend him to excel at. That's why it's so important that the Yankees don't just continue to build 1 through 5 in their lineup of just players who struggle, that struggle to put the ball in play. They struggle, right? They're looking to walk, they're looking to hit home runs, and they're taught that. So my whole thing, Jake, at this point, we're going to start looking at what the Red Sox do well, what the Dodgers, what they do well today. And I know you mentioned, oh, well, I think that the Dodgers just get it done when it really matters towards the end of the game. My answer as to why that is, it's having a good coaching staff that teaches what needs to be done in winning time, and good leadership, for one. But for two, you could make the argument that it's just simply contact hitting. Couldn't it boil down to being that simple? Every single player on our roster that hits with runners in scoring position, and there's a couple of them, when we look at what they do with runners in scoring position, don't we look at batting average? Don't we look at when Freddie Freeman hits with runners in scoring position? Is it really a shock to everybody that his batting average is 285? That Toronto last year killed us with runners in scoring position to the point where it wasn't a close postseason series? That they all just so happen, randomly, I know everyone's throwing it away, have high contact numbers? What a surprise that is.
Yeah, it is funny. And it's funny because you look at Freddie Freeman, and I'm sure Freddie Freeman's capable of hitting 30 plus home runs.
I'm sure he is.
Probably 40 even. He's got a decent amount of pop.
Of course. But he's hit 30 home runs, but yes.
But the way he swings the bat, his entire focus is, hey, I got Shohei Ohtani who already got on base. I got Mookie Betts. I got other guys, Pajes, right? Like, I need to just put the ball in play, because the Dodgers, and this is what I would really say, the Yankees might have more overall talent than the Dodgers outside of like Shohei Ohtani, like their top dogs. Like, I actually think they might.
Oh, they don't.
I don't think they play as well. Well, I would say this, okay? Miguel Rojas, I don't think is hitting 293 on any other team. I don't think he's that good.
Of course. You
but
put Miguel Rojas in a situation when you're standing next to, you show up with your 6'5", 250-pound brothers. It does help you play well. I mean,
so they have guys like that. Is my point.
Sure.
So yes, they have like a Rojas, right? Like Dalton Rushing, right? Teoscar Hernandez. I mean, I don't think at this point in Teoscar Hernandez's career, he's kind of he's a guy. Like, I don't think he's anything special. You know, his numbers would suggest he's really not.
They're going to pick their spots. The Dodgers are playing under their expectations. Mookie Betts is playing wildly under his expectations. Kyle Tucker's been dismal for $240 million in 4 years. He's not playing up to his standards. And yet it doesn't matter because let's check our notes here. They're 63-36. They don't have their rotation. They don't have the Kyle Tucker they were looking for. They don't have their closer in Edwin Diaz, and it doesn't matter. So the reason that this is going to be important for the Dodgers, and they don't sit there nitpicking of, should we figure out this player? They just say, can this guy hit? Would we want him up there against some of the game's best pitching? Can they put the ball in play against those type of guys? If the answer is yes, they sign him. And Teoscar Hernandez has proven, I can do that. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, they've all proven they can do it. Tommy Edman has proven he can do it. So at that point, you have to ask, why was Cam Schlittler? I know in the postgame show, Jake, he said, I just didn't feel like I did a good job because I didn't get through 5. No, you didn't do anything. They took you out the game before the 5th inning.
Yeah.
They forced you out the game. And that's because they refused to strike out. They did strike out in the game, but they were fouling off pitches. They weren't going down with 3 or 4. They weren't going down anemically. They were fouling off pitches. They were hitting ground balls. Right. And so
you go right after Ohtani, it's a tone
what did
set.
Yamamoto have? 17 pitches through 2 innings. It wasn't even a serious outing for the offense.
No, I mean, my thing is, and I understand people are going to disagree, and that's fine. I think they have plenty of talent. I don't know if these guys can collectively play together to fully showcase that talent. I think
Are you assessing these players as individuals, or are you saying
that's exactly how I see them. I see Bellinger as part of the solution. I've said this before. Grisham has turned himself into, I still think he's a short-term solution. I don't think he should be on the team next year because I don't think it makes sense to pay him over $20 million. I just don't.
Wait, who?
Grisham. But currently,
we agree there.
Currently, short-term, yes, he's a solution. Ben Rice is a solution, okay? Like, after that, it's like, Goldschmidt, let's give Goldschmidt the benefit of the doubt. He had 2 hits today. More often than not this year, he's been beyond a part of, the solution, right? But it's like, I look at players like Jazz Chisholm, who are more individuals, right? I look at players like Anthony Volpe. I thought Volpe had a really nice hit in that 8-2 ball game. I'm not saying that, he had a really nice hit. I didn't want Anthony Volpe in the lineup at all. When I saw that Caballero wasn't in there, I was pissed. But, it's like, I guess kind of what I'm getting to here is I think they have guys that would be better off on different teams. I truly feel that way. Like, I feel like Jazz Chisholm is somebody that kind of needs to be like a second or third option. And he doesn't do well being, unfortunately, because, perfect world here, Jazz is your 6th or 7th option. And that's a really good looking lineup, the way he was playing when he first came to the Bronx. Actually, not just first came, his first 162 games. That's a really, really good baseball player.
We're asking Jazz Chisholm to do the garbage work, and he's intending to do the sexy stuff. When you make a team, someone's got to do the trench work. Someone's got to block. Someone's got to be the decoy. Someone's getting the football. Right? That's how this works. Everyone has a role. The Yankees have redundance in roles. They have a roster of guys that are looking to hit home runs. And if they hit home runs, they feel like they've had a successful season, but they're not a successful group. And that's in large part because they're not a contact hitting team. And so I think moving this forward, Brian Cashman has a clear job. You can be happy and thankful for what Jazz has done and what a lot of these players that are, power oriented, that in a vacuum, you could say, well, that guy's a pretty decent player if you kind of put everything together. But this team and their needs is something different. And we need to have a 1 through 9 that's more respectable. When you're leading off a third inning and you're like, oh, my 6 through 9's coming up, these guys aren't doing anything. These guys can't put together at bats. They can't foul off pitches. They can't move a runner over. They can't bunt. You start asking yourself, what can they do outside of hit a random home run? The answer is literally nothing. Field your position and hit home runs. That's what we're waiting on. It's not a sustainable offense, which is why, Jake, when CC did the interview with Jazz, he said, we're in the dark days of the summer, huh? I hated that question. Because he just made it seem like it was standard to just be dogging it and just shitting the bed. In July, it's not. So Brian Cashman has a clear job. Acquire players that excel at what you fail at. They can bunt. They can foul pitches off. They can do all the garbage work. And if Brian Cashman can do that with the offense, I'll be damned about the whole bullpen thing and the Mason Miller. If you get him, great. If you don't, please fix this offense. We need 3 or 4 guys that are willing to do the ugly stuff so that when Aaron Judge, if he ever shows back up here, he doesn't have to say, I need to be the hero. The bases will already be clogged because you have guys who can do that. I don't need a bunch of base clearers. That's what these guys are.
No, I get that. I totally get that. So here's my thing. I want to talk about the catchers.
Okay.
Ollie Sanchez is starting to fall off a little bit, which is to be expected. He's not great. He's a lot better than everyone else, whatever. But I want to talk about the on-base splits for the catchers that are potentially available, okay?
Okay.
And the reason being is because I do think on-base matters, and I think those splits are something that should be brought to our attention.
I would agree with you, yeah.
So yeah, when I see a lot of tweets and comments and all this stuff about Goodman, and people are like, how the hell do you not want a 30 home run, 850 plus OPS catcher, right? And he's young.
This is going to be a good chat because we're not on opposite sides on this, but I'm like in the middle ground. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so my thing here is that I'm not trying to tell you that he's a bad player. That's not what I'm trying to do, right?
Right.
Not at all. But let's talk about all the catchers that are potentially available. Just catchers that we've heard could maybe get traded. It feels like we're getting closer to Langoliers being available. I also would be out on Langoliers. Totally out on him. Here's my thing. On base, the on base splits matter to me. Hunter Goodman hits 203 with a 756 OPS. It's 203. What does he do? He hits home runs. That's what he does when guys are on base. He's swinging for the fences. Well, you already have that. You have Wells doing that, okay? Wells is trying to do that. So
he's a much better. So
way better than Wells.
A much better version of Wells it's inaccurate, but Goodman is excelling at what Wells is intending to be. So,
yeah, I mean, I see this right here.
Not an ideal fit.
I'm just going to be honest. I don't see how that is not being realistic. They absolutely have the assets to get Goodman Langoliers. Because in my opinion, like without a doubt, the Yankees have plenty in their farm system. They have 2 pitchers that are very, highly sought after. A lot of teams are interested in. When you have ERC, and of course you have LeGrand. Then you have George Lombard Jr., who's a top 15 prospect in all of baseball. So, and then you have Spencer Jones, you have Jason Dominguez. That report came out, so we'll talk about that too. You also have guys like Will Warren. They have plenty in the tank to go out and get any of these guys.
It's a matter of if you
are
want
they
to
going to trade them, right?
Right.
We don't know for sure. First off, Ryan Jeffers is still the best option. And that's who the Yankees should be eyeing.
That's right.
I don't care about how old he is, right? Because I know Goodman, they would spin it as this is good for our franchise long term as well as it helps now. My problem is Goodman is exactly the same. If you want to change things up, go out and get Ryan Jeffers. Get a 322 batting average with runners on base and over 1,100 OPS. Get Ryan Jeffers. That's my first thing. My second thing, so Goodman 203, 756, okay? Shea Langolier's 245, 750. How about Adley Rushman? I don't know if they'll trade him. He's hitting 292 with an 858 OPS with runners on. Do you see the pattern here? I am
Shouldn't we just call it a prerequisite?
Focused on runners on. If you are the same as what I'm currently displaying, with this team, these splits, and what they do when runners are on base, how can I just sit here and assume that things are just going to change because you got a bigger name? I know he's going to hit more home runs. I know he's going to slug for more. 850 plus OPS is nothing to just scoff at, but they have a specific issue. It's not that they don't have enough home runs. They're consistently at the top 3 in home runs, but things don't change. When did they change? When they had Juan Soto, the best pure hitter in baseball. Okay, you have to still replace that. You have to find that somewhere. You're not going to find Juan Soto. He's not available. But if you could go out and find a guy and find another guy, and all of a sudden you have 2 guys that can hit for contact and hit when, shit matters. Now we're talking.
What the Dodgers do. They just
Christian Vasquez,
they
by the
brought
way.
Kyle Tucker in there because he doesn't strike out. He puts the ball in play, and they expect when he gets better, he's going to kind of do not what Juan Soto does, but he's going to try to do that style where he's a tough strikeout. You have multiple guys on base with less than 2 outs. He's going to get the ball in play. That's what they're banking on. So yeah, I think we actually agree on this. You're on the part of the fence where Hunter Goodman's not a good enough baseball player at what we suck at for us to give. I hate this term, give up the farm, because nobody's ever given up their farm. But the concept of giving up some of your best prospects for a player who already is excelling at what you're pretty good at already, that's not a good fit. Jeffers is the trade. If the Yankees can go get Rushman from Baltimore, then of course you'd love to do that.
Absolutely.
But when you're talking about what Jeffers is going to do for this team, the fact that he's an expiring contract should make it more attractive to the Yankees, not less. That means you have to give up less to acquire him. That's what we did for Soto. There's no reason that Jeffers isn't the guy. I think the only question at this point is whether or not for sure that Ryan Jeffers is available, which I think he will be.
I'm just worried about the whole, Ryan Jeffers, 3 years of control, young. Like, don't do that. Yeah, I get.
Wait, Ryan Jeffers, 3 years of control. I thought he was in his
not
walk
Ryan
year.
Jeffers.
Goodman. I see what you're saying. Yes.
Don't do that, because don't tell me you're going to trade away Spencer Jones, Jason Dominguez, because we need to go in and win the World Series, and then your caveat is, he's going to help in the future too. No. I don't care. What you're telling me is that these guys can't, contribute to the ultimate goal. So go out and get somebody that can. And it's not hard to see that the biggest issue this team has offensively is not hits. They had 8 hits today. They continue to hit in games they lose. I want to point that out. They continue to out-hit teams in games they lose. The biggest issue with the New York Yankees this year is that they do not pull the trigger with runners on. Not runners in scoring position, just that. Runners on. So I don't.
It's a black hole. As soon as someone gets on base, we're just like, we get a hit an inning, Jake. We get a hit, and everyone just freezes up. They're like, oh.
Well, that's exactly it. So Gary, they finished with 8 hits. Now I have to sit there and be like, yeah, they had 8 hits. They should have won today. It's like,
that's why Boone said. They
out
hit him.
How about this? Christian Vasquez he hits 265 with runners on. He has a better, his better splits. When runners are in scoring position, he would be way cheaper. So if I'm going to get like the lowest of the low, Christian Vasquez. I also want to throw out Luis Torrens, okay? Former Yankee, right? He's not great, but runners on, he hits 261. He has a 720 OPS. He's a good defender, and they have familiarity with him. So if you want to go out and you get, bargain bin hunt, it's not what I would do, but these are some guys. And then the last one I'll throw out there, Because I'm not a big believer in we have a problem and not offering a solution. You suck. If you're one of those people, you're the problem. You're not offering a solution, but you're complaining.
Yeah, you're lame.
You gotta offer a solution. Tyler Stevenson. I'm not in love with Tyler Stevenson. Let's not, make him out to be like he's some star. He's not. But the Reds catcher, okay, is hitting 245 with men on, has a 741 OPS. With runners in scoring position, he's hitting 250 with an 814 OPS, okay? So what I would take away from this, and I'm not saying that he has a giant sample size, 48 at-bats, runners in scoring position, 98 with men on. The point being here is that they can upgrade, and they will upgrade. But the problem here is that are you going to upgrade with adding a Torrens or, Tyler Stevenson or, Christian Vasquez? If you do, you're not giving up that much. So I'm not going to complain if that's what you choose to do.
That means
Fine.
You're doing something else.
Exactly.
You're doing something else. If you go get Vasquez and you're like, we got better, that's not good.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like if that's all they do, that's a problem. But if you're just like, you know what? We're going to go out. We're going to get Vasquez. It's a placeholder there. We've talked about it. We were ahead on Vasquez for a while here, Gary. We were one of the first people to talk about him.
We did.
But I'm talking about guys that if you address catcher and you make that placeholder move and then you already have that in the bank where you can still go out and get Jeffers. You can still go out and get, Rushman or whatever. But the big thing here is that you're addressing it with minimal risk. You're not giving up tons. When you go out and you get Hunter Goodman, and I've seen so many comments about how Hunter Goodman, he's the guy we need. No, he's the guy the Rays need. Because the Rays have the contact. If you add his power with guys on base, right?
It'll kill us. Yeah.
Yes. And I understand he's not great, right? He's not great hitting with runners on. But having him, he's not a part of what everyone else is doing. The Yankees would be adding
why the
another
look at it.
guy that does exactly the things that we can't stand. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, look, Hunter Goodman is a good baseball player. He has no fit for the New York Yankees. He just doesn't. We can't sit here and say, oh, wow, I love Chandler Simpson, or, oh, I really love Tommy Edman. I love, hitting with contact, and then be like, get me Hunter Goodman. You literally listen to everything. Everything went into your brain like, oh, yeah, contact. I hear you. And then someone's like, okay, so what do you want? Home runs.
Yeah,
No.
you can't trade away Spencer Jones and say you have a problem with his contact rate and his whiff rate
And then
and
go
his
out and get
chase
Hunter
rate,
Goodman.
and then you get Hunter Goodman. Hunter Goodman, if Spencer Jones, and I said this pre-show, Jake, that's what took us so long to start the episode. If Spencer Jones hit 30 home runs next year by the All-Star break or just after the break, you know what everyone would be saying? Hey, this seems like it's working out pretty well. They would just say that not because that's what the team needed, but because that's that player. He must be doing something really well. Well, would you trade away a contact bat for a player like a Spencer Jones or a Goodman? Guys, we just need a need. You need to fill a need. The Yankees have a contact need. Hunter Goodman doesn't fit that. Ryan Jeffers does. Obviously, there's some other catchers out there, lesser on the market, that would help us.
Intriguing. He is intriguing to me.
Yeah, he's intriguing.
Because I think he's kind of a well-rounded, solid. If you add him, it makes your team better. I'm not saying you're getting anybody superstar or anything like that. I also saw one in the comments. He's not great with runners in scoring position, but he's really good with men on. And that is Yainer Diaz. He's hitting 273 with a 734 OPS with men on. So it's not like I'm sitting here like, oh, yeah, let's just pick all the scraps and everything. But I'm saying if Brian Cashman is only going to get us one catcher, but he doesn't want to give up the farm, there are plenty of options, and they're not amazing, but you shop for what's available. Like, you can't go to Target and be like, it'd be really cool if you guys carried this. It's like, well, we don't. So I don't know.
By the way, some of those catchers options that you brought up, like Stevenson, right, Vasquez, those aren't sexy pickups.
I'm going to get flamed in the comments for mentioning them.
No, that's fine. And I'll definitely try and soften the blow. If you go get me what Pablo's saying in the comments, an average catcher would help. If you go get an average catcher and say, we got better, that means by definition, I better see Tarek Skubal. I better go
That's
see
what I'm saying. If they get somebody like that, they're probably getting Mason Miller.
Correct.
It's like, I'm not giving up my top assets to go out and get
Yeah.
Hunter Goodman, I'm okay. Because think about this. This is exactly how you got to look at this, Gary. Would you rather have Mason Miller and Christian Vasquez, or would you rather have Hunter Goodman and let's just say Antonio Senzatella, who I like, but who would you rather have?
No, it's the first group. You just have to figure out, what do they do well? What do we fail at? How do they plug and play? And by the way, Jake, I didn't realize how many supers we had. Do appreciate you guys. Thank you. So
Holy
Jay Span,
Toledo.
who I guess is gone but never forgotten, he'll watch this show after the fact. He says with a 5, thank you for the support. Says, I can't watch live. Appreciate you, Span. Says, I went to Yankee Stadium Friday night. Never again. So he's retired, but he's going to watch the pod. I appreciate that. Says,
Yeah.
Dodgers fans were super obnoxious. I was surrounded by more LA fans than New York. Well, that's part of what we've always been telling you guys. Oh, don't stop going to the game. They'll get the message. It's still Yankee Stadium. People travel to Yankee Stadium more than any other park. It's not even close. It's not.
Wait, you don't like the dubstep?
It's even worse at Dodger Stadium. It's so bad.
Somehow, it carries, like, on the broadcast, it's still pretty bad.
Have you seen Dodger Stadium? Like, do you watch their games at the end when they bring in relievers? And I don't mean like the cool entrances, like the horns and all that. No, they quite literally have a DJ going nuts at the stadium.
Oh, I wouldn't like that.
Absolutely nuts. It's what Aaron Judge said he wanted to copy at Yankee Stadium because he said it brought an atmosphere.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't bring the right atmosphere. Because here's my thing. Okay, you can have all of that, but you have that in between pitches. You have that in between innings. Like, you have that in between moments. Like, I mean, that's actually a lot of people's issue with live golf, right? That, you know, they have the constant.
Wait, hold on. You don't like watching like John Rahm or Bryson DeChambeau sitting there playing, and they're like, turn down for what? And they're just swinging. Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me? What a joke.
Yeah, I mean, the two guys you mentioned, obviously I'm a huge Bryson fan, but
you are, yeah.
But like, to your point, I don't prefer that. Like,
no, it's ridiculous.
It's one of those things. I actually did kind of a different thing today, where the first game I was with my dad and we were listening to King's X while we were watching the Yankee game. I never do that. We just felt like listening to music while we were watching the Yankee game.
Yeah.
But typically speaking, no, I don't like multiple things going on at once. I don't like all this abstract stuff that people try to do. Because it's funny, because in any industry, you always have somebody who's like, what if we reinvented the wheel? It's like, well, the problem with that is that this has been the standard for 90 years for a reason. Like, you don't think somebody came along and was like, yeah, we should try that, and then they tried it.
Wait, you don't
and
think
it
Jackie
failed?
Robinson would want to listen to Bruno Mars just blasting in his ear?
Oh my God. Can you imagine the stuff he was going through off the field, on the
think
field?
Bruno
and then he
Mars
has
would
to
have been
listen to
worse.
screaming music. Oh my
Well, you saw
God.
the movie 42, right?
Dude, that's honestly, I think that's my favorite sports film.
Yeah, it's great.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's sad, but obviously there's parts of it you're like, that's hard to watch. But
my dad did like a second and a half cameo.
Did he really?
Not really. They showed him wearing number 42. They're like, the players wear the number today, and he was on there for a second. So yeah, he makes like 12 cents a year from residuals.
that's hilarious. They pay him royalties.
Yeah, he has to be. Yeah,
That's awesome.
he played a key role in the movie.
Yeah, you know. But no, I mean, it's a great movie. But no,
It was a good
exactly. It's to that point, it's ridiculous. And you know what? To each their own. Some people like it. Some people don't. Some people also like the bananas. I would never watch a bananas game.
Oh,
ever.
you're talking about the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah, no, you couldn't
Yeah, that's
pay
not for
me
us.
to go to that game. You could not pay me money to sit there and watch that. You couldn't pay me $100, $200. I would not go, because I'm not interested. But there are people that are interested. So
Yeah, I get why they're interested. Like, they're watching the umpire twerk, and they're watching people dance.
See, I
do
hate
all the
it.
TikTok stuff. It's the opposite of what I would do.
Yeah.
So I
To
mean,
each their own, though. There are people that like it. I respect it. Just like people like soccer. I personally hate soccer. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, good for you. It's now over. Spain has won.
This is a celebration podcast.
Yeah, it's a great day for Jake. Ninja Hot Dog with the 5. We appreciate it. It says 5 runs, 4 earned through 3 games. Pathetic offense. This shit happens every year and no one wants to change. Calling them out just nets you a Twitter block from Aaron Judge. So let's address that, Jake. So I was blocked. We don't have the tweet. I really should have had you pull it up. Well, anywho, what did I say again? I said that, that's right. I said Aaron Judge needs to be more vocal in the clubhouse. Reason being is that the week prior, Aaron Boone and Aaron Judge both said they, in a way, collaborated on it post-game and said, we're just not focused on the right things. And Michael Kay said, well, what are you focused on? Right. And it's a fair criticism. And you and I agreed post-game. And what's, if that's not your focus in the middle of July, what is your focus? And I was blocked for that. Horrendous. I'll tell you right now, Jake, the only thing I'll really say on it and an opinion is that when you're rehabbing an injury, you're going to be on social media probably more aware of what's being said out there about you, your teammates, and whatever else. That's not personal. That's not anything. Jake, I'm going to always cover this team in the most fair way possible. Yeah, you can. Do you have it?
I mean, I'm just trying to make sure the comments aren't anything that's going to get us canceled. Because, you get people that just drop the dumbest stuff.
Oh, in my comment section? No way.
I know, right? Never heard
of that.
No
way. No, that would be appreciated because we'll pull that up.
Respectfully, I know.
So are we clean here? Okay, great. So here's my entire tweet because everyone needs the context. I don't really need to defend myself, but having exactly what's out there is important.
There you go. Got to give Gary the shout out there. There's the @ Gary
God.
Jr.
I put Jake up to this. So it says, here's what I know about the Yankees. The roster isn't good enough. And this was obviously the case opening day. Jake, you and I both agreed they needed to do more in the winter. They clearly didn't. They said it's a World Series team. And we see today, Aaron Judge leaves. They're not a World Series team. Aaron Boone has proven he can't lead a team to consistent effort. We weren't getting that. And an overall higher baseline output given the roster at hand. So, Jake, in a way, I'm agreeing what you said earlier, which was that the team has talent.
Yeah.
They've got talent. I acknowledge that. Number 2.
Is that crazy? $300+ million, and they somehow found a way to have talent on their
It's
roster.
crazy, right? They have talent, and they're not pulling as much out of their talent as they could be based on their leadership. 3, Brian Cashman has proven too passive to run the most recognizable and commercial franchise in the sport. He's always the sensible guy. That wouldn't be smart to trade this guy for that guy or sign this player for that many years and that much money. Therefore, I won't. And he does that each and every year. And you see the risk-taking teams, not all the time, but more times than not, hoisting World Series championships. That's why I said what I said. Matt Blake in number 4 is the lone highlight on staff. And he has his flaws as well. However, that's normal to find of any staff member in history. Interesting. So, Jake, we've even covered that. Hitting coach James Rowson has no idea what he's doing, in addition to the uppercut for Austin Wells. Not much needs to be added there. And here's where it gets interesting, Jake, if we can get a little scroll job down there.
Here comes the scroll job.
Here it comes.
Oh.
This is what got me blocked. Is this the end of the tweet here? Jake is very scared. My God, I wrote a novel. Number 6, Aaron Judge needs to be far more outspoken with not just this group, but every group he leads from here on, which means you are part of the problem. This has nothing to do with his lack of ability, his lack of availability, none of the two things. And for the most part, those are the two important things about being an athlete, isn't it, Jake? Or going to work. Are you there, or are you exceptional at your job as a singular asset? That's how we judge these players. No. You're the captain of the Yankees. You need to adapt. That's what that's really saying. Aaron Judge didn't like that.
Yeah, Aaron Judge read your novel and said, Harry Potter and the audacity of this bitch.
Yeah, the audacity for you to think I'm even part of the problem. Because if you look at all the other coverage, the coverage that's on Yes Network, the coverage that's literally on any other podcast, they'll tell you, no, look at the team with Aaron Judge when he plays and look at the team when he doesn't play. And I say it's bigger than that. He needs to have an impact when he's not playing. And when he's on the field, he still needs to be able to lead this team and get more out of other players. I think he can do more, and that's how highly I think of him. So I'll tell you what, for a captain of a professional baseball team, the most recognizable organization in the history of baseball, to, I'm not saying that I'm going to shed tears over being blocked, but to really care about this tweet in a negative way is pretty sad at this point. Sad.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not what you want, right? You don't want the captain of the team focused on this type of stuff. You would prefer just not knowing that they like he even saw this. You know what I mean? Like you don't need any interaction or anything. And my biggest thing is like Gary, I've known you for a bit now. You're not a performative person. I know the golfer that you love. He's quite performative, but little shot
Rory?
there at Rory.
Well, I wouldn't. I don't love Rory McIlroy. I was rooting for him at the Masters.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
I'm a
yeah,
Tiger
I can't
Woods
stand
guy.
him personally, but anyway, that's not the point. It was supposed to be a slide that in there, but
Yeah,
no. I would say you're furthest from performative because the one thing that you do is you don't like people please based on your responses or any of your analysis. You're very like, I am going to call things. I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to call things exactly how they seem. And it does rub people the wrong way, but that's because people want to be coddled. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who it is. This society, people want to be coddled in literally every single aspect of life. You could find somebody that wants to be coddled in every aspect.
It makes us all comfortable.
So,
like technically speaking, you know what I think, and you, in a way, you could tee up what you already know I'm going to respond to. Yet you don't really do that either. So it's an interesting perspective because this is also part of being a human being and being an athlete is that you have to be open to being criticized and not responding in a certain type of way, which to his credit, at least he didn't respond like a Kevin Durant would, clearly. So I'll give him credit for that. But it's also really important to be able to take advice, not that Judge needs my advice, but if someone gives you really broad advice, like, hey, maybe you should be a little bit more outspoken, it's not probably a good thing to have that negative of a reaction, I would say.
I remember any Dodgers fans that are in here are probably from my Rams channel. And I remember I got into a spat, if even. I was just saying my piece, and then all of a sudden his brother chimed in. So I don't know if you remember Micah Kaiser. He played for Virginia, and then he played for the Rams. He was a starting linebacker, and I think he played for a few other teams. Okay, well that's kind of my point. But anyway, there was a player by the name of Corey Littleton who was really good for the Rams, right? They found him UDFA out of Washington, and he had just really emerged and had really developed with the team, and I said they should bring him back. And I had an issue with the fact when I found out they didn't bring him back because they believed in Micah Kaiser long term. And I said, well, he's done nothing to show that, whereas Corey Littleton's a guy that he stepped up. And so his brother had it out for me. Like immediately was,
love of God.
What are you talking about? Like he had 15 tackles in the preseason and like whatever, right?
Do you see why, by the way, when people go, why doesn't this guy cover the team the right way? He's a company man. It's not that they're company men. It's that they're forced to see them in the hallway. So that's the reason why you see not company men. They don't turn into that, but they're aware of whose presence. Like Michael K has to see Aaron Judge. He literally had a conversation with him just a few days ago and mentioned how important he was even while he's not playing. And he mentioned that Judge kind of had a not a strange response, but it wasn't the response he was maybe looking for. You have to keep that in mind when you talk about these guys, because you might walk into a room and now Judge doesn't want to talk to you, or now this guy, this football dude that you talk to, your honest opinion, his brother's taking shots.
And then, of course, his brother knows people, and
his brother knows somebody. Oh yeah, don't do an interview with him. It's like,
I can't say for sure that his brother was the one, but I did have issues moving forward about certain people. They'd be like, yeah, like I heard, some things, and it was cool coming on the podcast because it didn't feel like you were that type of guy. And I was like, what type of guy? It was like, you can look at all my interviews. I've never been that type of whatever. So yeah, I mean, to your point, that stuff can spread like wildfire, and it is what it is. But I commend you because look, I love Aaron Judge, but I didn't think that you were wrong on this. I actually think you made a lot of great points. I thought you had another tweet that really hit on the head. I mean, look, people are going to get offended, but at the end of the day, you got to stay true to you. If you believe in something, why would you might be the only one who thinks that, but you might be the only one who ends up being right. Why wouldn't you at least share your opinion? And to
I
me,
don't even care if I'm right.
It's not even about being right, Gary. It's about, who cares? I think, so this is how I view it. I feel like we owe it to our community that we built here at Yankees Unloaded to be 100% unapologetically us. That's what I think, because they don't tune in for us to copy anybody, to just copy and paste what people are saying and who's available at the trade deadline. They don't tune in here to just hear us regurgitate what other people are saying, or they don't tune in here to just listen to what they want to hear necessarily. Sometimes
we could do that too. You can just read the live chat. It's somewhat behind, maybe 15 seconds from what we see. You can easily just take a look at the live chat and say, oh, you know what? 5 or 6 people are saying that we really should go after Jeffers and not Goodman, or Goodman and not Jeffers. And you just steer it that direction. So Jake, I think in the end, what's going to end up happening is I'll be in a room with Aaron Judge, just like I've been before. He's not going to have a problem with me down the road, just like he never did before. I'm just here to tell you, he'll just say, oh, someone on my team probably did that. It's weird. And then you move on. So yeah, that is probably what it's going to be. But I wanted to discuss this whole Spencer Jones, Jason Dominguez being shopped concept. Not necessarily who we'd be getting. Good luck trying to no one knows.
There we go.
But I know how you feel about Spencer Jones, and I shouldn't say you know how I feel about Jason Dominguez. You know which player I'd rather have on the roster. But now that I've seen Jason Dominguez over somewhat of the long haul, I'm relatively underwhelmed. It's not like they're not giving him run. He's in the number 3 spot in the lineup. He's getting at bats. He's just he's here. Spencer Jones, on the other hand, he was bad at what we expected him to be bad at. He was good at what we expected him to be good at. He hit some long home runs. He had a long swing. He has clearly things to work on. What did you think of that report that both of these players are expected to be available at the August trade deadline?
I personally, I don't have any issue with the report. I mean, obviously, report away. If this is truly how they view it, I think that they've missed the plot. Everyone should be available, sure, but I wouldn't just come out and be like, yeah, Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones, that is what we... Why? Like, why would you leak that, right? So, and by the way, is it Romero? Francis Romero? That dude literally is always on it. He's always... I don't think he's ever reported something. Like, he's not like that Mike dude that literally has never reported anything correctly.
Mike's never been right ever. We'll just call him Mike. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, he is a Mike. He's just a guy. He's
Mick Jagger.
He's a guy who anyone can go on Twitter. Now, anybody can be verified. You could just go on Twitter and be like, yeah, so I heard Ellie De La Cruz is going to the Dodgers. And Mike would literally do that type of thing. And then it doesn't happen. And then people press him and he's just like, I didn't say that. It's like, he deleted the tweet. So it's like those people, it's like you don't even want to. But anyway, the point being, right? Francis Romero does a fantastic job. It seems like any time he reports something, it's legit. It's the same thing. Like typically, like I love what Joel Sherman does. I think some of the guys that we've had on here, like John Morosi, like I think they do great stuff. This was concerning to see because Francis Romero doesn't report slop. So there's truth to this, probably.
There's gotta be some legs there.
I think if you're trading Spencer Jones, Jason Dominguez, I think it is a mistake to trade them both. And the reason being is because I don't think you should bank on Trent Grisham. I just don't. He already has some leg issues. We've talked about that. The hamstring has bothered him. And it's like, this is now 2 years in a row where that's the case. He's fallen off athletically in the outfield.
Could I bring up one of the positive things before you finish here?
Yeah.
Just so that people are aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
While Trent Grisham isn't the sexiest of options that you could be like, see, do you like what you see? A guy who hits pretty well. He's got pop. He's got a good walk rate. Hard hit rate's really good. He's in a really important premium position defensively in center field. He's really out of position. He should probably be in like left or right field. You want to see that for the next 3 or 4 years? It's not the greatest thing to sell to people, but Trent Grisham also provides a higher floor than the young players do. So that's all I wanted to add. I'm not saying it's the right move, but that's the attraction to doing the Trent Grisham dance again, which is that Spencer Jones could be dismal for all we know. Jason Dominguez could be what we're seeing right now, which is a 225 hitter with little power and bad defense. That's much worse than Trent Grisham. So Grisham is like the safe bet with a lower ceiling.
Yeah, I think next year, I mean, who knows when they're going to be playing. Hopefully they play on time. But I think next year, if you've traded away Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez, you better have a really good freaking plan for the outfield.
Who would you be happy with? So not that you're rooting for Jones to be traded or Dominguez or any of the group. Say both are traded. Who's got to be on the roster where you say, okay, I didn't want them to be gone, but given who's in the room, I'll accept this.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just went through this with Jared Verse with the Rams going out and getting Myles Garrett, right? So if you trade away Spencer Jones, but you end up with, Mason Miller, and say you don't give up as much as maybe everyone just assumes you will, or you end up with Tarek Skubal, those are the two that I can be like, okay, if they end up with Hunter Goodman, I'm going to be pissed, Gary. I'm going to actually be upset. If they end up with Shane Langoliers, I'm going to be pissed, right? So I don't want to trade like that. Even I love Luis Arias. I just don't think that makes any sense. If you can't acquire Luis Arias without giving up Spencer Jones, then the Giants are asking for too much. It's that simple. Because I'm not a fan of giving up Spencer Jones for a rental. You didn't do it last year for Suarez, and I agreed wholeheartedly with it. Okay,
yeah, we both agreed.
It makes zero sense to do it now. Because to me, I don't look at Mason Miller or Tarek Skubal as a rental. When you acquire them, you're likely going to commit to them and try
Same thing as Soto.
Agree to a deal.
We didn't trade for Soto to be a rental. We offered him 16 years, almost $800 million. They were intending to get him to a World Series, potentially win one. Say, this is what it's like playing with the protection of Aaron Judge. Now be here and retire here. That was their intention. And it just didn't work out. But that doesn't scare you away from acquiring players that are on rental deals, because if you really want Tarek Skubal, you can just simply go get him. We were outbid on Yamamoto over $50 million. We didn't even get to the $300 million mark on the pitcher you saw throw against us this series, Jake. We didn't go to $300 million. And he ends up getting $330 plus a $50 million bonus. What's up?
I mean, well, when I look at Skubal, right, like who's actually going to be a threat to sign him away from the Yankees? The Dodgers, they're getting older.
Are you talking about simply asking for money? Because that's part of the equation.
Yes.
The Mets are going to be up there to try and offer him a contract, just like Soto, right? It's going to be the same type of thing.
And he's going to be like, yeah, I don't want to go there. You have no plan. You're a joke. You haven't made the playoffs in 2 years.
We technically don't know what these players think, because remember,
but like he doesn't want to leave Detroit is what we've been hearing. So if he doesn't want to leave
many
Detroit,
players that say they want to leave a place.
No, I know, but like the stuff that keeps coming out that he really just doesn't want to leave Detroit. He's fine with them having a down year and staying there. But like I don't see him leaving Detroit to then have a down year over with the Mets and play for nothing.
No,
like
I get your logic, because
Yankees.
He would go your to the logic Dodgers. Is sound. You shouldn't want to go to the Mets. But Juan Soto went to the Mets, and that was ludicrous. And we tried to tell him that. But
at the same time, the Mets were, and this is my argument about why he went to the Mets. Okay. The Mets were still a team that was just in the NLCS. So I don't think he ever would have foreseen what they ended up becoming. when you're talking about the Tigers and you've been through it, this is the team that you've been your whole career, you're going to get a lot of blowback. And clearly he cares about what other people think about him with that organization. You're going to get a lot of blowback if you leave the Tigers and you're like, I'm going to take my talents to the Mets. Like, are you kidding me? You're going to go there? We're better than the Mets. You know what I mean? Or if you go to one of those mid-tier teams, you're going to get a lot of blowback. If you go to the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Phillies, that's expected. That is absolutely expected. And obviously, Tigers fans are going to be bummed, but they're bracing for it, and they're expecting that. Like, Pirates fans are expecting Skeens to go to one of those big market teams.
Yeah, and he will. But you said you don't want Jones to be traded for a rental. But our intention, if we trade for a rental, especially if it's a Tarek Skubal, is that he's not really a rental because you can just have him for money.
Correct.
So, right. So,
and it's not Juan Soto. You're not going to get outbid for him. They're not going to, that thing won't go to $800 million. You know what I mean? He is going to be had if the Yankees want him.
How old is Tarek Skubal, by the way? Just so we're aware. Because I don't know exactly.
He's 29.
Oh, he's 29. Oh, he's about to get paid.
Let me check. He's 29. Ooh. He'll be 30 in November. So you're paying him.
So he's going to get a 10-year contract. That's probably in the CBA. They're going to try and limit how long the deals can go, and the players are not going to agree to it. So
we're not going to see a salary cap next year. I'm telling you.
No, we won't see a salary cap. We're not getting any of those things. Here's what's going to happen. Tarek Skubal is going to probably get 10 years, roughly $500 million. That's what it's going to look like. And everyone goes, oh, $500 million. But you know what? In a game with no salary cap, and you're pitching at that level, you've won multiple Cy Youngs, you're durable. I know he's dealt with an injury this season, and that's also part of the negotiation that people are going to try and drive his price down.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to figure out, if we trade away Jones, if we trade away Jason Dominguez, we're saying this bit of the future, these guys aren't part of it, but George Lombard Jr. is. Not everybody can be part of this. You can have a core 4, but it can't be a core 8, if that makes sense, Jake. Ben Rice can be a part of your core. George Lombard Jr., it's fine if he's a part of your core, but you know what's also just as important, Jake? To find the right vets around young players to become a winner. That was almost just as important as our core 4. Making sure we had the right vets and talent around the Posadas and around guys like Bernie Williams and Mariano Rivera. Those guys were just as important. So I want to make sure. And so Brian says, why can't you have a core 9? I'm not sure if he's joking.
Yeah,
I think he is. But, ironically, I always try to tell people, after you draft a great player, that player is only cheap. And it's like my favorite take ever, except for yours.
You love
you don't
my
get
take.
Ben Rice is going to be making $30 million in 3 years.
Yeah.
So you can bask in the sun all you want now. Same with the Pirates. You've got Paul Skeens for cheap, and you're paying him dirt, and he spends a 2.5 ERA every year or 2. Good for you. But when he hits Super 2 status, which he will, and he goes to a few All-Star games, you've got to give him $400-500 million anyway. You've got to go into arbitration and set a record anyway. So these players, if you draft a ton of different guys, you don't get all of them for cheap. Eventually, you end up paying them big money.
Yeah.
And Omar, what a clown. Who is that guy?
What?
Yeah, there was some clown named Omar, and his name definitely isn't Omar. He's probably some other failed podcaster, but yeah. He was just making a living of arguing. That's what he does all day.
Yeah, whatever.
You were.
I mean, I'm gonna go to sleep tonight and never hear that dude's name ever again.
You're not gonna think of Omar?
Don't do that. I know right now. By the way, Alex Marin in our comment section is dying the way you just said that, because he's done that to me before. Wait, you don't think about insert heckler here on my other channel?
You got rid of Omar? Oh, poor Omar.
He does.
He's gonna have to show back up as Omar 24586.
Oh my god, dude! It's so funny.
He's still watching. He's probably got his iPad out.
Omar. We know you're there.
Gone but never
can't
forgotten.
hide from us.
Except on your own pod.
Yeah, right. But no, I think like I saw what Alex said, and I actually really think this is a good point here.
What did Alex say?
People get scared of players' price tags, but in reality, how often do players actually play to what they're worth versus what they're getting paid? Guarantee it's a small list. See, this is why like there's really no excuse. If you're gonna pay guys, how do you not pay Ohtani? How do you not pay guys like Tarek Skubal? Guys that have literally never shown any drop off, right? Like even Kyle Tucker to a degree had shown some moments in his career where it's like, you know, he had a great season and he had like, you know what I mean? He had a little bit of the rough time. We know the injury and everything in Chicago, but he had moments, right? These are like can't miss. Like understand this. And I was just talking about this with my dad earlier today. The Yankees, I don't care that they weren't going to get him. It is repulsive, and honestly, I don't think that we made enough of a big deal about it as an audience, as a fan base.
Are you going to Yamamoto?
Doing. The fact that the Yankees didn't even attempt to offer Shohei Ohtani anything, that is actually downright like malpractice.
You didn't want to come here. I'm like, well,
you think he wanted to go to Toronto, but he heard them out when they were offering $700 million to him.
He flew out and met with the team.
Yeah. You gotta at least try. He's the best player in the league. You didn't
even make an attempt. Yeah. Oh no, he wouldn't have answered our calls. Yes, they would have. You know what you would have said? Hey, what do you want? $700 million? Everyone's gonna make the argument. Jake, let me ask you this: of the players in Major League Baseball today, who on a mega contract has exceeded their value? How long is that list? Do we know? Because right now, didn't you just tell me that Mookie Betts is playing horrendous baseball given his standards for what he's getting paid? Didn't you just say that?
Yeah, he hasn't been good the last 2 years.
He's been horrendous. Now, here's the catch. He takes the ball himself in the World Series in Game 7 against the Jays, throws the ball over to first, double play, beats Toronto. They win the World Series. They're back-to-back champions. Do you think ever for a moment the Dodgers said, man, during the regular season, he lost all this weight after the opener in Japan. He's playing horrendous baseball. He's not hitting. He's not fielding great. He's just overall, he's not Mookie Betts. And in 2026, he's playing the way he's playing now, which is awful, and he's in the 4 spot. Do you think the Dodgers are regretting their decision in their trade with Boston and the mega contract? Nope. They're not even considering that was a bad move. Same goes for Tarek Skubal. If Tarek Skubal came here on a rental, we trade Spencer Jones, Jason Mingus, we unload the haul, we get him. And we give him $500 million over the next decade. We're going to get age 38 through 40 Tarek Skubal, and it's probably not going to look very good. But ironically, if he wins a World Series or two in the first 5 or 6 years of his career, are we really going to say, oh, we probably overpaid Tarek Skubal? If Tarek Skubal ends up not being good on your mega deal, who thought that was going to fail? Nobody. You just live with the risk.
And he's ended up being a guy that I actually like. But it really kind of goes to show you the Carlos Rodon move was just awful. It's terrible money management.
What didn't you like about it?
Well, I mean, I liked it when it happened, so I'm not trying to be one of those. But based on Alex's logic, when you really think about it, Carlos Rodon doesn't check the boxes. He had some weird years, right? He had
what
a
did
really
I say
good
about
year.
Rodon? I don't remember exactly what I said. I'm pretty sure I was low on Rodon. What did I say?
Well, we have a YouTube short, and it's also an Instagram reel where you're like, I hate it. I hate this move. I hate it, Jake. Like, I remember you saying that the beginning of last year. And
Ashley
then he ended
Rodon,
up
I'm really
on.
sorry. That's his wife. She's great on Twitter.
Yeah. I like Rodon.
No
I'm
disrespect.
just saying, based on Alex's point here,
yes,
you should really, because especially the way Cashman treats the offseason, right? How he like takes off free agency. If you're going to pay guys
PTO,
you have to justify it by paying guys that are can't miss. Carlos Rodon was nowhere near can't miss. He had arm issues. First year he gets injured, right?
Who was he pitching for again? Big market, or where was he?
San Francisco, and then before that he was with the White Sox.
Chicago White Sox, yeah.
So,
there you go.
You know, it's like I ended up liking the move when they made it, But like I'm saying, and I'm not trying to go back on that, but what Alex is saying is exactly the issue. Like Cashman barely makes moves in the offseason. If you're going to sign guys, they have to be can't miss. Technically, Cody Bellinger's not really can't miss. If I'm going to take Kyle Tucker's an issue, Cody Bellinger isn't can't miss. But you know what?
Can't miss because of our circumstances.
Cody, yeah, well, they didn't really have a choice, and the market sucked. It was a bad free agency. Technically, Alex Bregman wasn't can't miss. He had some weird years in the past where it's like, okay, we now know what can happen if things don't go according to plan. You know what's actually really funny about Mookie Betts? And this is a little bit off the beaten path. He's actually never been better on the Dodgers at any point than he was at the end of his Red Sox tenure. He never actually amounted to what the Red Sox saw him.
And you know what the Dodgers say?
Do you think the Dodgers care? Nope.
We'll take it because there's going to be so much talent around him that what he does, which is below his best seasons in Boston, it'll be just enough.
It's just it's really funny to see because you never think about it, but Mookie Betts really kind of fell off after Boston. He had an over 1,000 OPS, and then he had 2 900 OPS seasons, then 3 under 900 OPS, then 1, then an 8, and then a 7, and now he has a 600. So
he went from generationally great, like Mike Trout, 1,100 to 1,000 ops seasons. Like those are aliens. What he did in his best years in Boston, that's an alien season. You just don't see that from outside of maybe 3 or 4 players in the league.
Yeah.
And great defense in right field. He was a platinum glove winner. You don't see that. Who can also go to shortstop, which he ends up doing with the Dodgers. But Jake, they don't need all that. The Yes broadcast, in a way, told you everything you need to know about the difference between the Dodgers and the Yankees. They essentially said, yeah, they have Tucker and they have Betts and they have Freeman, and some of these guys are playing under expectations, but it's really not that important because not one of them is instrumental to their success. Not one player on their roster dictates the result. Shohei Ohtani did nothing. Didn't matter. He's banged up. No. He's playing hurt. He did that in the World Series. Jake, he didn't play well against us in 2024 in the series. He did nothing. He went out there with a bad shoulder. Unfortunately, he got hurt. And Teoscar Hernandez put him on their back. Freddie Freeman put it on their back. What else can you say? That's really the reality.
I love this super because it really kind of
this is great.
Unlocked a piece of I had it in my brain, but like it really kind of unlocked that where I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, especially with baseball free agency, you should only go after can't miss free agents. I mean, is that not like if you're going after a marquee
can't miss talent or can't miss fit. Can't miss fit, can't miss talent. If
I agree, example, Bellinger was a can't miss fit. He was a perfect fit for the Yankees.
Can't miss fit. Luis Arias is a can't miss fit. He's not a can't miss talent.
No.
But the fit of what Arias could do for the Yankees, you give him a 3-year deal this offseason, it's the perfect signing.
I actually think Kwan's a can't miss fit. I think Kwan's a perfect fit for the New York Yankees.
Right.
Perfect.
So that's kind of what we're getting at is you
and
just
someone
shouldn't
said
go
he's
out
hitting
there
over
and spend
400 in July. I'm like, are you kidding me? See,
I know,
if we were GMs,
it sucks.
Kwan is already in the Bronx, and we caught him right before he hit that, so
to
we got him at a discount.
Patrick Corbin would also be a Yankee, so this team would be in the gutter.
For me. I would have gone after Corbin. Zach Gallen, though. So that would have been my like mistake there.
Who are you going to go after?
Zach Gallen.
Oh,
that would have been my mistake.
And that's fair. Yeah, it would have been a mistake, but not a heavy one, to be fair. But yeah, so if the Yankees overspend on Tarek Skubal, it's not a problem. If they overspend on Juan Soto, the way that a lot of Yankees fans kind of coped, he did us a favor. No, he didn't do us a favor. We were just overspending on a player that we still would really like to have. Let's stop spraying cologne on a turd. There's no salary cap.
The salary cap is not our problem.
It's not our problem. Juan Soto, we still would have loved to keep him. That's not the problem with the Mets. The problem with the Mets is what's going on elsewhere. The problem with the Yankees right now is what's going on elsewhere. That's the problem. So, yeah, let's get back to some of our supers. Jersey Girl with the 5 says, Robert's strategy is wear down Cam and get him out ASAP. 98 pitches, 4 1/3. Jake, I'm curious to know how important you think Roberts is to the strategy, because I actually think this is a lot of their GM and their personnel and not necessarily Roberts. But she said, so that worked. Meanwhile, the Yankees seem incapable of working the count. Do you think that the reason that the Dodgers can work the count against Cam and the Yankees don't do the same thing, do you think that's player related, or do you think that's leadership and managerial decision?
Well, I think it stems from what I was saying earlier. The Yankees were looking for the home run ball. They're at Yankee Stadium. They're feeling themselves. They're like, oh, we're going up against the Dodgers. We're going to need home runs.
So that was the players' choices one by one?
I don't think like the Dodgers come into games and like, we're going to need home runs today. But I also don't think they're going to be like, we need contact. I think they're a team that just lives in the moment. The Yankees are that team, I guarantee you, that goes into games like, we're going to need to hit the home runs today. We're going to need to pick up.
Well, yeah, we hit the home run today and Jazz won the game.
Yeah, see,
we did it.
Well
done. Job well done, boys.
It sucks because it's like, I don't like throwing shade at the guy that literally helped us win. And this is not the first time that I've done this when it comes to Jazz. And it's not really Jazz. It's just the whole, I have bases loaded with nobody out. I don't need a home run. And we've seen that. The 5-run inning, right? A 5-run inning where they put in Jake Turd, okay? Awful. I get him off this team. I send him to outer space and just leave him there, okay? Like, put him in Project Hail Mary and just leave him in that movie. I don't know. I don't want to see him in a Yankee uniform ever again, okay? But anyway, he gave 5 runs. So, in those 5 runs, how many of those 5 runs, Gary, came off the lawn ball?
0?
Correct. 0.
Okay.
You had, and I'm actually going to bring up the play-by-play here because I want to get this down perfectly, okay? It was 2-0 Dodgers.
Unfortunate what happened with McMahon because it wasn't his fault, which you agree with.
No.
But what happened next was unfortunate. And the Dodgers put so much pressure
Grisham hits
on
the
them.
home run,
Mhm.
right? And then top 5th, Pages hits the double, scores Edman. So it's a 3-1 ball game, still a game. You're still like within striking distance, whatever. So we get to the 8th inning. It is 3-1. Betts struck out. Okay. Jake Bird strikes out Betts. Then he walks Muncy. And in that bat where I don't think Muncy's really trying to even swing the bat there. And he walks him. And then Tucker singles to right.
Oh, yeah. He must hit Muncy like 3 times. Yeah.
Now understand, Muncy walking, that was the at-bat where he popped it up. McMahon isn't able to make the play. Obviously, none of us would have made the play. I'm sorry. Sunglasses don't block the sun. If you stare right into the sun with sunglasses...
We need a new technology. Unfortunately, there's nothing you could do sometimes.
Yeah, it's all about like a visor. It's literally a visor for your eyes. You're not meant to just stare into the center of the sun with sunglasses. But anyway, that's what it looked like the ball was today. Like, it just went right in the sun and he couldn't see it, and he's just kind of like, what the hell? You knew right when that landed. I knew right when that landed. They were going to make him pay. So, Kyle Tucker, who, while I'm telling my dad he's done nothing this year, comes through. Single, okay? Muncy walked. So now he's already on 3rd. So then you have Teoscar Hernandez, who hits a ground rule double. And all of a sudden, it's a 4-1 game. Kyle Tucker's sitting on 3rd. Teoscar Hernandez is on 2nd. Jake Bird walks Dalton Rushing. Really bad approach with him. And then Tommy Edman, who you're talking about earlier, knocks in 2 on a single to right. Ohtani singles to right, knocks in Rushing. That is how you went from a 3-1 ball game to now it's 7-1. And then Doval comes in, and you have Ohtani who's on base, Edman's still on 3rd base, Rushing scored 7-1. Doval comes in, he hits Pages, Ohtani is on 2nd, Pages is on 1st, and Edman's still on 3rd. Base is loaded. Freeman hits a sac fly. It's 8-1. Betts walks. They get Muncy to ground out. Could have been even worse.
And Muncy hit that ball hard to first base. So everything that they did, the whole inning, was applying pressure, and there was nothing surprising about what we saw.
No.
Nothing. There were
And
a
this
bunch of
isn't-
guys in score position, a bunch of
Yeah.
slap singles, and I'm not saying that they were Ichiro Suzuki infield hits.
And they're
They
not
weren't.
trying to hit singles, Gary. They're not
No,
getting up there
no.
like, we need to play, contact first. No, they're
Yeah,
just
it's like-
they're
like Pepper.
living in the moment.
Yeah.
That's what the Dodgers are. They just live in the moment. They really kind of build off what's happening. They are the definition of momentum in baseball. When you watch this team,
situational hitting, I
and
guess.
situational hitting, absolutely. And that's the issue I have with the Yankees, because you watch, and before this inning, before we even got to this point, Gary, you could see it. Ben Rice, they finally get through on Yamamoto. Ben Rice hits a double,
Yep.
right? Then
Oh, that was the
Dominguez-
worst inning the whole day. Worst inning.
Dominguez fouls it to third base.
Why didn't he bunt?
I don't know. And then Bellinger just misses it, but it's like, dude, I understand he's definitely going for the home run there. He definitely is. And I know Bellinger normally doesn't do that. He's definitely going for the home run there.
But why are we saying we're just missing a ball when we just need a hit?
Oh, I know.
We don't need you to hit anything.
He just misses
deep here.
what is definitely a home run if he, like I say, just misses it. It's 3-1. Rice is still on second, but now there's 2 outs. Just like that. You had a leadoff double
No advantage
on
at all anymore.
Yamamoto.
Yep.
And it felt like Dominguez was trying to, how do I get done with this at bat in the quickest way possible without racking up Yamamoto's pitch count? That's what he did. And then Bellinger even had that moment. And then Schumann, hit the ball in the screws right at the center fielder. So
It's the reason why Yamamoto ended up throwing 103 pitches in a complete game.
I know.
There
And
was
he gave
no
up 2
approach
runs.
at all.
Who does that? Who pitches a complete game giving up 2 runs? You never see that.
No, unless it's like a hit by pitch and you get a 2-run jack. That makes a lot of sense. But
that was good managing, I thought, because why
was.
not? It's not a lot of pitches. I hate this rule. Oh, well, we got to take him out. We got to put our closer in. Why do you have to put your closer in? You're up at 8-2. Don't be an asshole. So,
or put anyone in, because you just never
it's
know.
a double header,
how
and
it helps you.
like this is the difference between Boone and Roberts. Roberts left his starter in for the full game to avoid a bullpen issue in the second game. Aaron Boone put in Jake Bird in a game that was 3-1 in the 8th inning, Gary. This game was not even close to over. And, you could make the argument for the last 5 games have really come down the wire for the Yankees, where they have found a way to be the victor at the end of the day, coming through in the clutch. So it's like 3-1. You were doing that in Washington. You should believe that you can do it here. So the only way that you can't do it is when they come up to bat and it's not 3-1 anymore. And that's what happened. And so putting in Jake Bird was atrocious. And I'm not going to blame Boone for things he can't control here. On the other side, Giovanni Cruz not being on this team isn't some and I want to make this so clear because we talked about this off air. It took me about an hour and a half to get to this point. This is not strategy. This is stupidity. There's no strategy here. Giovanni Cruz has already shown you he can pitch at this level. Why in the hell is Jake Bird on this roster and he's not? And I know he's not. He got sent down to AAA because he sucks. But why did this have to happen? Why do we have to keep learning from this mistake? You keep making the same mistake over and over again. It's the definition of insanity. You're not learning. Brian Cashman, get your head out of your ass and call up Giovanni Cruz for the love of all that is holy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. No other podcast can circle or pinpoint what the issue is. You don't know. Jersey Girl, thank you for the 2, says, off topic, did 99 really block you? That's so weak. Yes, he did. We really appreciate the support. Thank you.
I'd say that's pretty on
Scott
topic.
Ross. It was. It was on topic. And by the way, we have guys, you've been awesome with the super chats. We really appreciate it. And again,
Appreciate
guys,
you
if
guys.
you're new here, be sure to subscribe to Yankees Unloaded. Tell a friend, send an email, put us in there, hype the video below, and liking the video really helps us out. Scott Ross with the 5 says, to Gary's point, we are playing 5 players every day who are below league average with a pen held together by a thread. Tell me how we fix at the deadline. You're going to have to, the tendency for Yankees fans right now is going to want to be to do things in bulk. And it's going to get you away from signing the big time player or the splash player. This is what I mean by that, Jake. Anytime we go, oh, let's go out there and let's just pretend, right, that Ketel Marte was available and we had to give up everything we had, or let's just say Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez. It's the biggest guys that we have in our system. Well, people would say, well, does that player fix all your problems? There isn't any player. Unless we're getting Bobby Witt Jr., there's no player in the league today who would just solve all of the Yankees' issues. So what's more likely to happen is the Yankees are probably going to try to trade for 3 or 4 good players that are position players. That should be what they're trying to do. And is it the best way to go about it? I personally think it's put up or shut up time now. If you think honestly, and you're telling me the truth, that Judge will be back here by the end of the year, the AL is still not very good. I don't care what's going on with Boston and what's going on with Tampa. They're still a part of a bad AL. So I'm just going to call it what it is. You have to be the most aggressive team in the room. We haven't won a championship in 17 years. So to be honest with you, Scott, they're going to have to make 3 or 4 moves, and we have to love each and every one of them. It's a tall task, but you wouldn't have this tall of a task if you did more in the winter. So, Scott, we do appreciate your super. And baby Winnie the Pooh with the 5 says, I swear they hate Giovanni Cruz, to Jake's point. He said they send Bird down to bring up some bum named Kervin Castro. No disrespect to Kervin Castro. What are his numbers, by the way?
I don't want to disrespect him, but I just don't understand.
I guess what did Kervin Castro, what's the angle for Castro as opposed to
he was already
Cruz?
On the 40 man, but I mean, so is Giovanni, so I don't get it. But I mean, he's pitching well in the minors, 2.05 ERA, 0.84 whip. I mean, he's definitely doing something. He came up before. He's a good story because, I mean, he's had a hard time getting to the big leagues, and he's pitched a long time in the minors. So he's pitched 160 games.
At least it's someone serviceable, to your point.
Yeah. I mean, look, he had 2 innings before he got called up again this year. He had 2 strikeouts, and he had a 4.50 ERA with a 1 whip. Like, you know, it's not what you want.
Cruz worked 3 innings, to be fair. So
yeah.
So I can live with this player, but Cruz should just be here, and Castro. I mean, we've got enough room to go around. So
it bothers me because it looks like they nailed it on Shivili. Like, he looks like he's exactly what they were hoping him to be.
He looks really good. Yeah.
And I don't get it. And you know what's really funny is Cruz is actually somewhat struggling in the minors. His ERA is now at 3.06, and he has a 1.21 whip. This literally goes along the lines of my theory. If you leave a guy who clearly shows that he's not meant to be in AAA for too long.
Oh, like Jones, yeah. I see.
I think that they just kind of weather away. And he's 26. It's not like you're talking about an 18-year-old who's like, oh, he's way ahead of the. He's not. He should be
like
up.
that at any job. If you know, oh, I should be the CEO. They're gonna announce my name.
Yeah,
this is long overdue, and then you don't get the call. Well, eventually you need to be rewarded. Otherwise, either A, you're gonna look for another job, or B, you're gonna, what do they call it, quiet quitting today. You're not gonna be the same employee. And I'm glad you brought that up, because you brought that up with Spencer Jones, who you didn't think deserved to be sent down for Max Schumann at the time. And now Cruz is down at the minor league level, and it seems like Jake Bird wasn't nearly good enough to keep him off the roster, and now he seems to be scuffling.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I don't like the way they handle the minors, because I think that they have guys that are really doing a nice job down there that are developing these players, and they just get stale, man. That's why, like, ERC was weird that they were like, yeah, he's going to be the one. Also, blink and you'll miss it. Cam Schlittler was in a presser, the one that you were talking about, how he's like, yeah, I need to get through more than 4 innings or whatever, 4 1/3. And he's like, yeah, hopefully Elmer can pick it up today. Elmer didn't pitch. Remember that came out like he was supposed to pitch? That was hilarious.
He didn't pitch at all. I don't know how that happened.
He did not pitch at all. He was supposed to be the starter today. And by the way, it was weird when they took out Yarbrough. Like, I know it ended up working out and they won the game, but like, Yarbrough started for you last year. Like, actually did a pretty nice job. And he was pitching well. I just didn't understand why they took him out there.
I think they probably thought, if we're going to lose a game, let's not lose it. Given our offense, it has to go perfect. I actually agreed with the move of Yarborough. I don't want to just kind of adjust in hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
My feeling on it was that if you try and keep Yarborough in there to kind of squeeze it as hard as you can, and all of a sudden Yarborough turns into Yarborough that we've seen this year on a split second, he can make an inning turn into Dookie water.
Oh my God.
Overnight.
He's hard to watch this year.
So I thought that was the right choice from Boone.
That's
just
fair.
from a standpoint of, I have to ask myself, do I really want that guy pitching no matter how he's pitching? If the answer is no, I've been pretty consistent on this. Garrett Cole, the other day, he asked to stay in the game. Aaron Boone said, it's your baseball. I agreed with that move. Reason being is that's Garrett Cole. If he gives up a 2-run home run and you lose, well, you live with that.
So this is actually my issue, is that, Mike, I appreciate the comment here. He's not really blocked by Grisham. Like, they're playing. I'm going to actually be pretty harsh here. So understand this. Not at Mike.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
Max Schumann
Mr.
sucks
Dive
in the outfield. He's
not
awful.
a good outfielder. I like his at bats.
People will talk about how bad Jason Dominguez is. I think Max Schumann's the worst outfielder I've seen in a Yankee uniform.
I agree with that 100%. Max Schumann is not good out there.
It is such a slap in the goddamn face to see him in the outfield starting games, because that was not the deal. Remember, he's, oh yeah, like, I understand, because he's like this guy that can come off the bench, whatever. And Spencer Jones can't. Like, make the argument, fine, okay, you got Bellinger, Grisham, and they just believe Jason Dominguez is the guy. Fine. But when Jason Dominguez is riding the pine or he's DHing, and you have Max Schumann playing in right field, that is so disrespectful.
And Max Schumann also batted 5th. So
yeah, I mean, and that's
he's
on
not.
Boone.
No, he's not
That's
blocked. It's just that's just the wrong name in front of Jones. If you think that Max Schumann's a better, a more well-rounded utility player, and that's the reason you're going with Max Schumann, that's the reason that the Yankees are doing this. But this whole idea that Spencer Jones isn't on this roster because of Trent Grisham, that's not the case.
I think it's gotten to the point, though, where the Yankees don't deserve the benefit of the doubt here. I think too many people, they do this thing where, and I see it all the time in the NFL, well, if he was as good as you believed, he'd be playing. And then that same guy gets cut from my team that I told you was really good and you were wrong about, and he goes to another team and ends up being a great player. And this has happened multiple times. And it happens in different sports. I can't stand that argument because it's stupid. The argument that every single time the guys that are in charge always make the right decisions is wrong. Why? History shows it's wrong. If they were always right, I mean, how would that work out? Every team would have to have a ring by now, right? That's not the case.
Did Derek Jeter go number 1 overall in the draft?
Did he? I didn't think so.
No, he didn't. Did my dad go number 1 overall in the draft to Pittsburgh in the 1988 draft? Did that happen?
No.
He didn't, did he? He went 6th.
Didn't Jeter go 6th, or was it?
He's somewhere close to there, yeah. Can anyone tell me, how is it possible that Mike Trout was drafted, I believe, in the 20s, 24th overall, 25th? How's that possible? To your point, Jake, these guys get it wrong all the time. They just have a lot of experience, so they use that experience to make projections on what another player that looks kind of like a different player in the past, and they make a projection on how that's going to play out. That's really all these professionals do. They don't do anything else. That's it. So, in a way, these guys are going to make a lot of mistakes. They're going to be criticized for those mistakes. And unlike us, Jake, we can make mistakes and we can just put our hand up on the podcast and people go, oh, that's pretty funny. At least you're being accountable. But if Brian Cashman makes a mistake, it affects the baseball team negatively.
Yeah, exactly.
So, they're in a tough position. But just because Cashman makes a decision and he has more experience in a front office doesn't mean he's going to make the better decision than anyone listening to this podcast today with any one given player. That's the fun of sports, is we're all just kind of guessing. We don't know what's going to happen. But
I wanted to throw something. Did you see that article, by the way, on Spencer Jones?
No, I didn't see the article. What did the article say?
So I can't remember if it was Bob Clappish or he does a really nice job.
That sounds right. I thought I saw something about him. But what did overall?
It wasn't him. It was more so he interviewed.
Other GMs, right?
Yeah, and
what did they say?
They said basically they would trade him
Okay.
because he's Joey Gallo 2.0.
Okay.
And I'm like, let's make one thing clear. All of you GMs that are saying to trade him because he's Joey Gallo 2.0 were fawning over Joey Gallo, fawning over him when he was in Texas. You told us about the war, you told us about the defense, you told us about the power, and you were fawning over him. He struck out 200 times. You knew that. That wasn't like a hidden fact. You still loved him. I can't stand this switch up now because I did not like Joey Gallo. You know that. But if Spencer Jones ends up being Joey Gallo on the Texas Rangers, which is exactly what they're saying he's looking like he's going to be, that's a really good player. That's a really good player. And by the way, my issue wasn't trading for Joey Gallo. My issue was getting Joey Gallo. My issue was giving up multiple top prospects for Joey Gallo. Like emptying the farm system for a guy like that. If I already have him, like I drafted him, he's developed into that, I'm good. And I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to be a hypocrite here where I'm like, no, Hunter Goodman, he strikes out a lot and what? No, that's not what I'm saying. I watched Spencer Jones, and Spencer Jones hit when runners were on base. He actually looks like he has more contact in his arsenal.
He definitely did.
Than he was given credit for.
And so I hear what you're saying.
That's what I can't stand, this switch up.
He was making the attempt to put the ball in play more, but he still was striking out a lot. Now, can you just draw the conclusion that it physically can't get better? No, you can't. But you also have to take a gamble on any player. If you go with the young guy who is a strikeout or home run or walk guy who plays great defense and can run like the wind, the floor of that player is still a really good defender who strikes out a lot and hits, I don't know, you can look at him like a Trent Grisham type guy where he's going to strike out a lot. He's highly flawed. And if it doesn't work out, he's going to fail at exactly what the Yankees fail at today. That's if he doesn't improve drastically.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reason why Spencer Jones and some of the other players in our system aren't way up the ranks, is that it's perceived that their floor is low. They might have a crazy high ceiling. The player's 6'7". He has light tower power. He can play defense. He can move from right to left to center. He can do all those things. But his floor, I don't agree that calling someone Joey Gallo is a bad thing, because they're talking about, I think in that article, they're talking about Yankees Joey Gallo. That's addressing the floor of Spencer Jones.
That to me is insane, because
Texas Rangers Joey Gallo is a good player. It's just not the right fit for the Yankees, to be fair.
My biggest issue with all the critique on Spencer Jones, they're talking about him like he's played as much as Jason Dominguez has, and he's hitting 150. Like he has no reason to be up here. He's a better defender than anybody currently in the outfield not named Cody Bellinger. Full stop. And on top of that, he's already shown you he can hit like contact-wise. And he can hit when runners are on. And he has that, the high fastball people are worried about. Understandably so. But guess what? Any hitter that's not, honestly, any hitter, right? Ohtani strikes out, Judge strikes out. Every hitter has a Achilles heel.
Well, they did answer our question, Jake. So you're saying that Spencer Jones could be up here. The Yankees are saying Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez are going to be available for trade. That's what they just told us. If Spencer Jones comes up to the big leagues and hits 215, strikes out a bunch, plays great defense, his market goes down drastically. Not saying that
then why is Jason Dominguez playing?
I think Jason Dominguez is worth far less, and the Yankees know that. Jason Dominguez shouldn't net the Yankees much, to be honest with you. If I'm a team, because you have to look at it this way as well, they have to like what they're getting just as much as you like what you're getting. You don't just get to, give us Tarek Skubal, we'll give you Jason Dominguez, you can work on that. No. You have to ask the other team, do you love what you're getting so that you can agree to this trade, or do you just want to keep the player? Right? Jason Dominguez, it seems like, is going to be a 250 hitter when it's all said and done. He's going to just hit 250. He's going to hit 20 homers, and he's going to play, if it improves, average defense. That's the gamble that teams are going to make. Jason Dominguez, do you really feel like the Dodgers, if they showed up to this series, they felt like they had to game plan for Jason Dominguez at all? He hit 3rd today for the Yankees, or 4th. No one even thought about Jason Dominguez today. He's not even a thought on this team. So who's more valuable on the trade market? Who do you think's more valuable? Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez? I think it's Jones. It's not even close.
I agree completely.
You have more control. You have more.
But I also think,
come on,
and this is where maybe what I say might surprise you. I think it makes him look worse by keeping him in AAA. I would read right through that immediately if I was another team. Oh yeah. He's so coveted that you are playing Max Schumann in right field instead of having him in your lineup right now with Aaron Judge out. He's that coveted that you saw 233, 317 on base and a 687 OPS, and you said, yep, we got to send him to AAA. He's that coveted. He's 25. It's like,
I think their intention is to trade him and maximize his value in any means necessary, whether it's smart in the short term or not.
And by the way,
keeping Jones in the minor leagues, and they want to keep, all means necessary, George Lombard Jr. I think that's their intention all along. They find a way to maximize everybody else.
That's the issue.
Leave Lombard Jr. I think that's what they're doing.
They're making this whole, if that's the direction, that's stupid. You don't have to choose one or the other. You have 3 of those guys. You have Dominguez, you have Jones, you have Lombard Jr., right? You don't need to choose one out of the 3. You don't need to, that's what I'm trying to say is Spencer Jones shouldn't even have to be traded. You have all of these arms. All these teams are looking for arms. All of them. So, Jones shouldn't have to be in that deal. It almost feels like they're pushing him into that deal. It's like they want to get off this train. It scares me because it makes me wonder if, are we about to see Grisham get a Aaron Hicks deal? I mean, really?
Highly doubtful, but
this is what I'll say, Gary. Okay, this is the big thing. It is astronomically dumb to trade away Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez. Because it's not just about next year. Say you believe in this year, right? And you're fine doing whatever to win this year. Well, now you need another outfielder. So Max Schumann. So what happens when the guy who's had 2 different hamstring issues back-to-back years gets banged up again? What's going to happen then? What's going to happen?
Are you talking about this year?
That's my issue. They're banking on Trent Grisham never getting hurt again. That's what they're banking if they trade those guys away. That is stupid.
I think their intention also is if they ended up trading Dominguez and Jones, those are 2 young players that are both considered projects that could work within the next year or 2. If we end up trading 2 outfielders, they probably feel you've got Bellinger, we still have Grisham, and Judge is going to return at some point, but he's still not in the room now. He's not part of the team right now.
So you're going to put the guy whose bat is more valuable than anything, you're going to put him back out there in the outfield, the only place he's ever gotten hurt.
That's what they've never told us at any point. They're planning on moving him to DH.
That they're wrong.
So, right. I get I definitely understand what you're saying. Brian Cashman has made a decision just like most other GMs do. They have a guy that their intention is to keep. And I always told you I thought LaGrange was the player that Cashman wanted to keep because he moved in positions. You don't just move a guy from the rotation and a guy who could be part of a big league rotation the way that he's throwing and move him to the bullpen if your intention wasn't for him to join your big league team. Whereas some other players, you're like, doesn't he need to be getting work in left field? And all the while they said, no, we'll just keep him in center field. What was the long-term plan for Jones because they're not moving him positions? To stay at the minor league level. That was the intention. Grisham gets hurt, then he gets called up. Grisham's healthy, he gets sent down. That's how they were planning on doing this all along. I just think to read Brian Cashman, we just have to pay attention to what he does twice. He's done these moves already multiple times. So that just sort of is what it is. Brian Bashman with the 5. He says Lombard Jr. looks different now. He's talking about the bat clearly. So he looks like he believes he should be in the majors. And I think he's got a pretty good argument based on what Caballero is not playing great baseball at all. So
yeah,
George Lombard
that.
Jr. has if he's going to continue to play well, he's got a bigger case than what people are giving him credit for. Good for him. Definitely happy for him. And Miguel with the 2 says we should get Francisco Alvarez from the Mets. It's an upgrade. Is it the perfect fit for the Yankees? I don't think so. And Jake, I know you agree with that. You don't like any Mets. We've talked about that.
Well, I don't like Alvarez because I think he's very much an injury prone, just slug for the fences type of guy.
He gets hurt a lot. Yeah.
Now I haven't seen his splits recently, so I'm just gonna look up real quick because it's right here.
I believe he hits lefties well, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, he's awful with men on and runners in the square. I want nothing to do with him. Absolutely nothing. 236, 591 OPS. So he's Austin Wells when runners are on.
When runners are on, he will crap his pants.
Well, I mean,
Ryan
not the
Bashman with the
236, but the OPS and up below 600. Yeah, I already have that.
Yeah. Brian says Esmerlin Valdez has a K rate equal to Jones, but he's hitting daily bombs in Pittsburgh. So obviously a high strikeout rate guy, but he puts the ball in the seats. Interesting. So we'll keep an eye out, Brian. We really appreciate it. An analysis 1957 with the 5, we appreciate it. It says trade deadline is in 14 days. There are at least 6 teams, including the Yanks, Red Sox, Rays, who are looking to add a catcher. Short supply, high demand. And like I said, Jake, it's going to matter. What's going to matter is not what's in your farm system, but who's the most desperate. Say it all with me, guys. It doesn't matter where your farm system ranks. What matters is how big of balls your GM has.
The
That's
Rays,
all that matters.
If they go out and get a legitimate, like if they go out and get, say, Joe Ryan, if they get Joe Ryan and freaking, what's his name? Jeffers, I'm not going to be happy.
If they got Joe Ryan and Jeffers or Joe Ryan and Goodman, for the fit for their team, they're contact first all the way. They don't hit for power other than obviously what
they got to add
big
more.
Do.
They got to add more runs to their arsenal.
Yeah. So the trade deadline is going to really impact the AL East, probably more than it's ever during the regular season.
We're going to see how serious Tampa is because Tampa really can look at this one of 2 ways. They can see we're ahead of schedule. We're going to just trust the process, play the course, or they can try and maybe skip a year or 2 and be like, you know what? We can win the freaking World Series this year.
I say skip a year, but they're also, to be fair, Jake, they have new ownership that has more money. Well, I'm expecting the Rays to be way more aggressive. They're going to get a new stadium. Don't expect the Rays to move like the Rays, like the Devil Rays that you remember with Jorge Cantu and Carl Crawford. I think those days, I don't know if they're over and they're going to be unrecognizable, but the days of the Rays saying, oh, we're ahead of schedule, let's just wait until 2 years from now and give that arbitration deal. I think, Jake, people might be a little surprised at what Tampa does.
I used to love Carl Crawford. I don't know. I was always into those outfielders that could steal like 50 bags and were super fast.
He's a producer now. He's like a rap producer in like the Houston area.
Who's that?
Carl Crawford.
Oh, really?
He's made a ton of money as a producer. Yeah, music producer.
Oh my God. Damn.
Yeah.
Carl Crawford. I don't know what it is with Rays outfielders that just gets me going, but you got Chandler Simpson, Carl Crawford. They had another one. Oh, what was his name? Was it not?
You're not talking about Upton, right?
Desmond Jennings.
Desmond Jennings, yeah.
I like
Desmond Jennings, dude. Desmond Jennings. I knew him well. I used to play basketball with him all the time.
Oh my, it's so funny.
Super athletic, dude.
That's
that dude
so
was
funny,
nuts.
dude.
But yeah, nice
like
dude.
I remember when he first got called up, and I was like, oh, I think they got something here. He didn't end up being what I expected, but I thought he had some good seasons, right?
Yeah, he had some seasons, but yeah, it didn't turn out. It didn't turn out the way that he wanted it to.
Over 800 OPS his rookie year.
Well, the Yankees should still sign. He's probably 39 right now.
Desmond Jennings is 39 right now.
Oh my God. That is nuts.
Desmond Jennings being 39 makes me feel very old.
Isn't that nuts?
I remember
says
when
if the Red Sox trade for
Skubal
were cooked, yes, Bautista. if the Red Sox trade for Skubal or Joe Ryan, I don't think that's what Boston does personally. I think offensively, I shouldn't say I'd like to see him at a bat, but yeah, if any team that Tampa, Boston, I mean, shoot, if the Dodgers go get Skubal, which I expect them to try and go do, it's a problem. So, you know how we fix that is be the team that gets Tarek Skubal and don't fall into the trap of we need bats, so don't get Skubal. Ty Webb with the 5, it says J-Dom has shown consistency, but it's consistent 1 for 4 with a single, maybe a double every once in a while. This is so true. Defense has improved, but he's pretty mid so far. He is, was he Chris Middleton?
Oh my God.
By the way, any mid you can come up with. He's as mid as it gets.
I don't know if you remember. It just occurred to me. I was like, wait a minute, Joe Ryan, Rays. The Rays had Joe Ryan. The Rays traded him for Cruz, Nelson Cruz.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have, but I didn't know that. No.
I just looked. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. Joe Ryan, Rays. And I just kept playing it in my head. And I was like, I feel like that was like a thing. And then I looked it up and yeah, he was part of the Nelson Cruz
I had
trade.
no idea. No clue.
Yep.
Probably because he wasn't great over there. That's my assumption.
I don't think it was like, I don't think he pitched a lot for them, if at all. I think he was just like a prospect, right? He was competing in the Tokyo Olympics in 2020, and he was traded for Nelson Cruz and Calvin Foucher. Yep, he made 2 starts for their AAA team. So he never actually, but I remembered him being in their like farm system. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. It's so you to remember that. But Brian, thank you for the 10. He says, to be fair, Ohtani's reps specifically wants the Dodgers with the deferred compensation idea. So what does that tell you about where he wanted to go?
That's
Ohtani
on the Yankees,
wanted to go to the
anybody
Dodgers.
Can use the deferred money.
Okay, I just want to say one thing about, I guess I'm going to conclude with this. When Yamamoto came to the States, everyone made the assumption, well, he just wants to go to the Dodgers. The Mets offered $300 million, about $300 million. The Yankees offered $280. The Dodgers offered $350. If all he was doing was going to the Dodgers, why did the Dodgers feel compelled to outspend every other team? For what? You didn't have to, right?
Yeah.
If if Juan Soto, right, and we've talked to some of the reporters that have joined our show. We said, did you know where Juan Soto was going? They said, oh yeah, he was always going to the Mets. Was he? Everyone keeps telling me that he's a mercenary. He was just going to go to the highest bidder. The Mets just so happened to be the highest bidder. Well, what if the Yankees were the highest bidder? Was he coming back to us?
I just feel
because the reporters say he just wanted to go to the Mets. So
yeah, it's interesting.
I understand players that have a preference. If CC had his preference, he would have went and pitched for the Angels. He would have went and pitched on the West Coast. That's where he's from. He's where he wanted to play. And yet we make the trade. We make the signing. That's how this works. Sometimes players are going to tell you, I'd rather go play over here. Well, so what? So what would you rather do? I'm going to show you why you should show up here. And if the Dodgers say here's 700, you say here's 725. That's how this all works. So I understand.
No excuse for them not to get Yamamoto. That was insane.
Of course not. You were outspent by $80 million. And your conclusion is that Yamamoto just wanted to play for the Dodgers?
I think he would have signed with the Yankees. If
Who
they
wouldn't
had
want to
made...
play for a team that outspends you by $80 million and it's the Dodgers? It's not like he went to the Mariners. He went to the Dodgers. Of course he's going to go there. They're the highest spender and their team's great. Come on. Silly.
Yeah.
It was silly, man. People are sitting there making, he was just never going to come here. Well, yeah, he's not going to come here. Your team's not winning and you were outspent by $80 million. So Ohtani's reps can twiddle their thumbs all they want. You got to outspend people if you really want them to join your team. And our final super Yankee Fangirl for life with the 5 says the team won the last bullpen game too. Oh, we did. That's true. So maybe we should just do bullpen games every day. So let's start as a bullpen game every game. then close with our starters. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah,
we win every game
definitely...
we're not expected to win. That is very true.
What do you think about our guy Randy Miller saying the Yankees will aggressively pursue Mason Miller?
I thought it made sense, and I thought the response on Twitter was exactly what I would have expected to see, which is that how does Mason Miller help our putrid offense? And if you're only allowed to make one trade, I think I would agree with Twitter. But the good news is you're allowed to make, well, as we saw last year, we get Doval and we get Bird and we get Bednar. You're allowed to sign as many players as you want. You're allowed
quality
to open
over
as many
quantity.
Spots.
Quality over quantity. Just make sure, like, no
quantity over quality.
Yeah,
that's what Cashman said last year.
The way I would see it is, look, if they end up with Arias and Mason Miller, that's a really good deadline. People might not love it. I mean, there are also people that are just like assuming we're going to get like Byron Buxton. I don't understand why I keep seeing that. I don't get it. He's not a fit at all. At all.
You know who'd be the best fit, by the way, for Tarek Skubal? Milwaukee.
I mean, I think the Yankees are the best fit for Skubal.
Well, it would be a great fit. But could you imagine seeing the Miz and Tarek Skubal? I'd be like, boys, just go ahead and pack the bat.
And that
just
point,
start bunting.
At that point, just go out and get Freddie again.
Yeah, you might as well.
Just bring him back. The Mets are such a waste of space getting Freddie like that.
Yeah, they were. Because now they're expected to trade him. I'm such a damn fool for having not... Jake, did anyone believe in the Miz more than me before he got called up?
All over him. You should have gotten all of his superfractors.
I'm a fool. Now, mind you, he was a top prospect. He wasn't number one, but he was way up there. I knew when I saw him in the minor leagues, I said, hold on a second. How hard is he throwing? And they said, oh, yeah, that pitch you just saw right there, that was 97. I said, that slider that he just threw, that ball moved 3 feet. Oh, yeah. I said, oh, okay. I should have just started buying cards right then.
Dude, it's so funny because there were other guys like Bubba Chandler, whatever, and you just kept coming back to Jacob Mizorowski.
Oh, I saw Bubba Chandler. You know what it was? When you watch a pitcher throw.
He's another one.
Who?
Andrew Painter, who hasn't ended up being anything.
Yeah, exactly. I looked right over Andrew Painter's head and was just like, couldn't care less. When I see someone that looks like they're trying to throw 150 and the ball comes out 99, it's hard to throw 100 miles an hour. It is. So don't get it twisted here. Bubba Chandler's got great stuff. I think he could be good. But there's a reason that Kurt Schilling comes out and says, yeah, he's a thrower. He's not a pitcher. He can work on it and fix it. But when you watch Mizorowski throw, he looks like he's throwing 95. And the dude is throwing 105.
Yeah, it's very repeatable mechanics. He makes it look effortless. No, I definitely agree. And it's the movement too. It's the same thing that has everybody going crazy for McLean. Unfortunately, he's on the Mets, so he won't be seeing any real action anytime soon. But Nolan McLean, like with how like his what?
The Mets. You're not high on the Mets.
Who would ever be high on that organization? They're literally run by a fantasy football guy. That's Steve Cohen is literally, he's just a fan. He has no idea what he's doing. None. Zero. He's an awful owner. Awful.
I respect him spending money. I'll respect. I just have. I know
your dad played there. I'm not trying to go that route, but I'm just saying that
Steve Cohen.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that Steve Cohen is not a good owner, because the worst owners, Gary, are the owners that get involved. The worst owners are the owners that pay the money, to the right guys, have them handle it. It's why I was just having this conversation earlier today. I am super high on the future of my LA Rams, because even after they call him Silent Stan because he just doesn't talk, and people mistake that for not doing anything. Here's the thing. His nature, Silent Stan Kroenke, his nature is exactly how an owner should be. Fund my team. Don't cut corners. Make sure that you are actually willing to spend the money Go out and hire the right guys, and guess what? Let those guys that you hired run the team.
Must be nice.
So, and his son is the same way. Do you know his son owns the Nuggets and the Avalanche?
No, I didn't know that at all.
Well, when I see the way he runs them, I feel really good about the future of the Rams, knowing that the way he runs those two teams, that's exactly how I want my owner to be. I don't want Jerry Jones. I met Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is a nice dude. Like, I met him a few times in Mobile, Alabama. Here's the thing, okay? I want a standoff owner that is just going to fund my team. And what I mean by this, because some people hear me and be like, but you want Hal to do something. No, what I want Hal to do is stay out of everything. I want him to fund the team and not worry about a salary cap, if you will. And that to me is what a real owner does. A real owner isn't afraid to spend any sort of money that is going to positively impact the organization and likely win a championship. They're going to let the professionals that they hired to do the job do it. You're not going to have to worry about like your GM is like trying to make a pick in the draft and your owner's like, oh no, we're going to draft Johnny Manziel. Like you don't have to worry about that.
Steinbrenner is a bumper. If you ever go bowling, Hal Steinbrenner is the bumpers for the Yankees. If all of a sudden you're like, well, we need Tarek Skubal, like he's not the perfect fit, but it sure would be nice to have him. Yankees fans are conditioned to be like, well, we shouldn't go after this because Hal has a cap over our head. So we have to be careful with how we spend our money. We should never be looking at this baseball team like that. The only reason we think that way is because Hal Steinbrenner allows Brian Cashman to move in that way. Everyone should be begging for Tarek Skubal and then see what else you can do. But that's just kind of the nature of where we are. And it's unfortunate because you're right. Hal is, and you see in the comment section, he's a little standoffish. He doesn't seem like he's involved at all. Oh, Hal's very involved. He's more involved than most owners, where everyone's moving the way that they're moving because he says you need to be moving that way. And that is why we're in the position that we're in. It's what the reason that our manager's in the position he's in. It's the reason Brian Cashman's been there for over 30 years. None of it is by, this is all by, like Jake, honestly, this is his exact plan for it to go exactly this way. And they hope that one day it just ends up working out. But Jake, let's get to some picks because someone asked earlier if we play tomorrow. We do. We play Pittsburgh, I believe.
Yeah.
And they're much better this year. We did avoid Paul Skeens. So
look at that.
Good for us.
We deserve an award. Avoided
Make
Paul
someone else look like
hang the banner.
Bloody sock Kurt Schilling.
Yeah, hang the banner. Yankees avoided Paul Skeens. But they did hit Braxton Ashcraft. He's pretty good. So yeah, so
yeah, to dawn of the bad news.
Yeah, so Braxton Ashcraft is going to be on the mound against the Yankees, taking on Ryan Weathers.
We see Bubba Chandler on Tuesday.
Oh my God,
he's going to look like Kurt Schilling, guaranteed.
Maybe he'll look like what is it? Yusei Kikuchi.
Well, the good half or the bad half? Because remember, we started to light him up towards the end.
No, I'm talking about the bad half.
Oh, okay, maybe. ERA's 4.77, so there's a possibility.
Yeah. So anyway, it's hard to make picks now with the Yankees because they're just the Yankees. I don't know what else to say.
You said they don't hit with runners in score position, but they get hits. So
yes,
let's select them to get hits.
We have been nailing the hits. So did Paul Goldschmidt find a little bit of an awakening? I kind of like that.
Go ahead.
It's a righty with Braxton. I get it, but I still, I don't know. Maybe this is just hopeism or copium. I don't know what you want to call it, but
copium is right. Yeah,
we're going with Paul Goldschmidt. Jake Mangum. No, he was. Did the Rays make a trade with the Pirates?
Why?
Did they trade for Mangum? Because he was on the Rays.
I don't know. I have no idea who that is.
Oh,
he could be a creative player.
He's given the Yankees fits back when he was in Baltimore.
Former Padre. He's been playing well this year. Well, he had 10 ribbies in a game.
Oh my God, we're going Esmeralyn Valdez. The way he's been hitting the ball lately.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, every Yankee fan was like, "We need Brian Reynolds." I'm glad we never did that trade. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, in hindsight, I think I was one of them, to be honest.
But he at least you weren't Jake McCarthy fan.
Oh yeah,
That was
in Arizona.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
oh, and
you're
then
right.
my least favorite guy that got popped for steroids. Can't stand
Kepler.
him. Can't stand him.
Yeah.
All right.
You should see him. He's skinny as a rail now.
Look. Oh my God. Look at this. Freaking Rafael Flores.
Oh, Jesus.
Do I even want to know what this guy's doing right now? Do I even want to know?
How many Yankees do we have on this slip? Just one?
Well, we have Valdez and Goldschmidt so far.
Okay.
I'm just trying
who
to see
said what about
Flores
Jason
is
Dominguez?
doing.
Remember they said he goes 1-for-4 with a single? Give me Jason Dominguez for a knock.
Oh, Rafael Flores was called up, and he's hitting 333 and 1100 OPS.
Okay.
He's only played, I think, like 5 games, but still.
Okay. Yeah, give me Jason Dominguez to hit the most random hit of the game. He's going to go 1-for-4 and play some below average defense.
Does anybody have any... I don't think they've seen Braxton Ashcraft. I'm not even going to bother because he's young, so I don't think... Marcell Ozuna is still a thing? Oh, yeah, he apparently is.
3 hits his last 2 days.
Brandon Lau. Yep, he's giving the Yankees fits back with the Rays.
So you're going to put him on there?
I think so.
Yeah.
This is kind of the new reality. I mean, they're not looking like one of the best teams in the league right now. So we got to fill some spots.
Is this power play 10 for 52 or is this
This is power play 10 for 52. So
yeah, let's go with the power play. I'm comfortable with where we're at.
I want to add Ben Rice.
Okay. No problem with that.
Or do you want to go Bellinger? We'll go one.
No, definitely Ben Rice. Between the two players, yeah, Ben Rice playing better baseball.
So 10 for 75. You can check it out over on Prize Picks. The link is in the description below. Play 5. Get $50 instantly in lives using the code HMA. The link is in the description below. We got Goldschmidt, Valdez, Dominguez, Lau, and Rice getting some hits tomorrow. So there you go. Oh, and it's available in 40 states.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, anywho, Jake, anything else? I think we definitely, I'm glad we covered what we covered today. We talked about Jones, Dominguez, not just whether or not we want to trade him because we think they suck. That's not it. You trade players because you think someone out there is available that can help your team more in the short term. That's the way the Yankees have to move. But if you can't honestly evaluate your trade that has Spencer Jones in it, or George Lombard Jr. in it, or Jason Dominguez, any name in there, you have to like what you're getting more than what you're giving up. And as long as we can all agree that that should be how this all works, I think we'll hit the nail on the head with this trade market. But as we know, Jake, Brian Cashman doesn't love to live at the top of the market. So I think we're going to get probably, what'd you say? Quality over quantity. I think we're going to get somewhere in the middle. It's going to be a lot of quantity, but the quality, we might see some goodwill quality. I do. I'd be surprised with Miller.
Make it a B player, a B plus.
Jeffers would be the most impactful pickup the Yankees could make. And I think that if the Yankees don't get Ryan Jeffers, that's a mistake. I'll say that.
I agree. Unless they're asking for the sky. Because, I mean, I don't know if Jeffers is worth the sky, but
he's a rental. So I would be very surprised if they're asking Jones, Lombard Jr. I'd be very surprised by that. I would.
Yeah, I mean, I would make the argument, I think people would be okay as long as you don't end up trading Lombard Jr. if he's part of your deadline. Like, you call him up after the deadline. I know people are going to scoff and like, oh, here we go. But no, like, hear me out. Like, if he got called up on August 3rd or August 4th or whatever, I feel pretty good about it. Like, I would feel like, oh yeah, we just got a deadline acquisition.
I would consider that. Don't tell me this guy's back from injury and that's your pickup.
No, I hate that. Like when they're
But
like
a
Louis
call-up
Heel is our
that'll
deadline
suffice.
acquisition. Like no,
Yeah.
no, sorry.
We'll take the call up. The call up,
because we've never
that's
seen
accommodating
him
shortstop. Yeah.
in the big leagues. So if you want to make the argument that we are acquiring a player who's being added to a team that we've never seen before, like fine, okay, you want to go that route, but don't hit me with the Luis Heel stuff that they did last year. Where we're getting him at the deadline, so that's kind of like a no, shut up. We all knew he was going to say that too. So anyway, I don't know. I think we really tried to hit the nail on the head with the catchers. Went over their splits. I know there's more to it than that, but I'm really as simple as that goes. Like if you hit with guys on base, that's what I'm looking for. And if you don't, I don't want you, because I think you're part of the problem. I'm trying to find the solution. I'm not trying to add more. You add more players, guess what? It's just more fluff. You're not really solving the issue. Would the Yankees be an objectively better team with Goodman? Yeah. But here's the problem. I'm giving up top quality because this guy has 3 years of control. He's 26. He's a catcher, has an 850 OPS. He's one of the best hitting catchers in the league because catchers don't normally hit at that level. But the little things, the things that I'm focused on, the things that will repair this team and all of a sudden turn 8 hits into 5 or 6 runs instead of a 2-run game, that is not evident in some of these players, and that includes Shea Langoliers as well.
Yeah, that's completely fair, because people just look at these players and say, well, he's a great player, therefore I want him. Is what he's great at, is that what you need? Because the Yankees traded for Joey Gallo. To be fair, Jake, we needed a left-handed power bat. That was what we needed. He just didn't perform. That was on Joey Gallo and not on anyone else. So drop in the comment section, if you stuck around with us for over 2 hours in this podcast with the Yankees Unloaded, drop in the comments your perfect deadline. Would you spin the block and trade in, I shouldn't say your chips, because it's not going to take everything to get Mason Miller. You might have to take on a bad contract. Who knows? Give us your perfect deadline in the comment section, and we're going to read those and respond. And don't throw those in the live chat, in the comments. Subscribe and like the video.